Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Epstein file time. Released. True that. Today is supposed to be the day that we get the Epstein files. Will we get them? I don't know. I am quite doubtful. But in the meanwhile, we can listen to good old Donny speak shit.
These are among the greatest executives anywhere in the world, so it's an honor to have them with us, and I think they'll be very happy about what we have to say. I thought I'd start by announcing two things. This is the gold card, that, as you know, the Secretary of Commerce and myself and some others have been working.
Immediately, I want to point out that Trump sounds and looks kind of tired, though. Usually he gives these speeches like during the evening time. So it might be that it's in the middle of his nap time.
And Howard,
Who
how
knows?
much have we sold in a few days?
$1,300,000,000 worth in a matter of a couple of days.
That's essentially it's
James?
the green card on steroids, and it's a pathway, and it's been an amazing thing. And as you know, millions of people pour into our country from the border, and not anymore. They don't know. Nobody comes in actually anymore. But under the Biden administration, 25 million people came in.
I wonder if there's going to be a day when Donald Trump is not going to mention Biden. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, when Father Time does his job and it's time for Donald to pass on to the next life, his sons and everybody will be talking about Biden in his funeral. That's how fixated Trump is when it comes to Biden.
And they came from prisons and mental institutions, and they were drug dealers, and all sorts of people came in that shouldn't be here. They came from the jails all over Venezuela, all over the world, the Congo. And
he was talking about people coming across the border, and now he's talking about Congo.
Now when they come in, they have to pay $1 million. And we've had a tremendous surge, and you're going to be happier than anybody because when you go to Harvard and the Wharton School of Finance and all of the great schools and you want to hire somebody and then you find out that, I'm sorry, they can't stay in our country for more than 24 hours. They graduate from the top schools. These people want to hire them. Now you're able to buy a card and you're able to keep people in the country. They can't keep people in the country. And they go to Canada, they go to other countries.
Bring back Biden, please. Bring back Biden, please. We Europe sick of Trump and zero wars. He stopped Irish Paul. Yeah, I think like not necessarily Biden though. Biden was. We need to be honest about this. Like Biden wasn't fully capable of being the president for the last 3.5 years of his 4-year presidency. Like that is the reality that we need to also discuss. But to be fair, 100% agree with you that we are a bit, I wouldn't say like sick is a weird term, but yeah, the United States deserve better, and also the rest of the world deserves better. Like Mango Mussolini isn't what the people of the United States deserve. It's not what they voted, probably. What a BMG.
They go to Canada even though they work for the companies behind me. So now you're able to buy, the companies are able to buy the card and use it for people coming in to our country so they can stay in our country instead of being immediately shipped out after graduating. They graduate number one in their class at the best school, and they want to go to work for Johnson & Johnson, as an example, who's not here today.
What
who will
Orlando
be here
Norris?
next week. They're well represented here. But they want to go to work for one of the great companies behind me, and you learn they can't do that because they're shipped out of the country. They're not shipped out anymore. So
How are you, mate? I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
your company will pay.
We're waiting for the
but that's
files.
Okay, you'll be able to get them. So I just wanted to. It's called the gold card.
We're just waiting for the files. So today is the day that we are supposed to get the Epstein files. Unfortunately, we already know that the Department of Justice is not going to release all the files, which is kind of against the law that they put in. So it's going to be interesting to see if like the Congress is going to upheld and like trial the Department of Justice, which would be interesting to see. But they were supposed to release everything. Did you see the Bill Gates picture? Oh yeah, which one? Like, let's not beat around the bush. Which one? Bill Gates was all over the fucking pictures, and we haven't seen the rest. Do you see that huge golden cross on the lady? Oh yeah. Look at Trump's right hand. It is getting worse. Interesting files. Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure that they're gonna release
Trump
the files
gold
though.
card. Quite a beautiful thing.
They're gonna be
And you've
redacted,
taken
even though
in
they
just a few
shouldn't
days,
be
you've taken
redacted.
in over $1.5 billion. That goes all toward reducing debt, goes into the Treasury of the United States. And I thought I'd do this before we start on Most Favored Nations.
Any plan for the
I
Christmas?
want to read this because I would have said it the
Probably
other night,
just
but
chill
I was not
with the
allowed
family,
too
playing
much
board
time.
games,
Actually.
and you know,
You had a couple
I
of
have two
brand new
kids,
shows
so
opening, and I understand
my
that.
hands is kind of busy when it
But I
comes
do
to
want to
Christmas
say,
time.
and some people say, oh, you shouldn't say it sounds negative. To me, I think it sounds positive. The only reason our unemployment tucked up
What about
and
you,
went
Lando?
up to 4.5%, which it went up to 4.5%, which is quite a low number, but still, is because we are reducing the government workforce by numbers that have never been seen before. In other words, government jobs.
Black bar all over the names. That's gonna be the reality. My house has 20 plus people for Christmas. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of family Christmases. Usually during Christmas time, I enjoy just having like really, really close people, like just my brother and like my mother-in-law and my wife's sisters and like their spouses. Like less than 10 people is the optimal, to be fair. It's a family tradition, I know, and it's like you can't really escape that. You need that. That's like a burden. Especially the older you get, you want to be like among people you really enjoy, which is harsh to say like about your own family, but still, you know.
Are way down. And as you know, we don't need 10 people to fill one job, which is what we had in government in many cases. So the government workforce, by numbers that have never
Is Red Lady
been
wearing
seen
a leather
before, has
skirt?
been
Oh yeah.
reduced very substantially, and it will continue to be reduced.
She looks like she's ready to go to the Epstein Islands.
100% of our new jobs are in the private sector. So this is for the last number of months. Think of that, 100%. Are you shocked to hear that? That's the way to make America great again, when you think, right? It's the only way.
Except like the job numbers were the lowest since 2021. What was it, like under 50,000 jobs created in November, which is the lowest since 2021. Yeah, they were all on the private sector, but it's still a super low number considering like we're talking about the United States. So there's 340 million people in the United States. So if you take that into the context of like generating like under 50,000 jobs, anything under 100,000 is considered to be a failure. Thank God it's Friday, beer time in Ireland, now 8 p.m. I know. I'm in Ireland, so.
100%
Pre-drinking before pub runs, right?
Sector. And I could reduce unemployment to 2%, 1%, or practically zero.
No, you
By
can't.
just hiring people into the federal government, even though those jobs are not necessary, which is what we had before. We had millions and millions of people having jobs that they never even showed up. So I wish.
Remember what I said. Whenever you hear Trump say a number, it is completely exaggerated, and most of the time, so much so most of the time that I can say that most of the time, the numbers that Trump give are complete lies fabrications or just so far from the truth that you don't even question it anymore.
That the media would report that the
Ireland County
4.5% is
Westmeath.
an amazing number. And again,
Guinness time.
if they don't report it, I guess maybe I'll just let some people go into the federal workforce. It'll look really wonderful. And what we're doing is the only way you can do it to make a country great. You can't have the government jobs. You have to have the private sector jobs. And these are among the biggest hires of private sector. So we have reduced the federal workforce by tremendous is in the private sector. That is, we don't do the federal workforce jobs. And they had some of the most admired companies anywhere. A good time to be hitting up Spain, Italy, France, Spain, and someplace anyways. They set their own prices for $10. So we'd pay 10 or 13 times more money than the money. Drugs, pharmaceuticals, right, Oz? And
do we have Dr. Oz
would go
here?
From $130 to $20. So we dropped way down. They went up a little bit.
Like, I feel like he doesn't really understand the difference between big numbers like millions, trillions, let alone percentages. His face tan going even darker orange tango, lol. Bad lighting. I don't think it's even bad lighting. It's just like... It's not even a tan at this point. It's more of a, as you said, a painting. But the funniest thing is, like, if he's talking about pharmaceuticals next, he doesn't understand reducing of prices, because he's referring to, like, he's going to reduce the prices of medication by 600%, 700%. Oh yeah. Remember 600% of pharmaceuticals. That's because he doesn't fucking understand. And even his cabinet needs to make up shit to explain to the media, to the press and everybody, to the citizens, what he means when he's trying to reduce the pharmaceutical prices by 600%, which is impossible, because that would mean that the pharmaceutical companies would need to pay the consumers to, like, get their stuff. But according to, I wonder who was it? It was probably the press secretary Goebbels of Trump that said that Trump is talking about, like, business-wise. So if you have a product that costs $100 and you really reduce it to 13, you would need hundreds of percent to get back to the $100 price. So it's like fucking reverse logic. Can we place a bet who falls over or collapse in the background? Make it happen, please. Please need some comedy for this Friday. It's gonna be this lady. Like, it's gonna be the lady in red that's gonna collapse.
And
either by the will of Satan or just because she's not breathing. Unfortunately, Lando can't see on TikTok, but if you Lando want, because TikTok is gonna flag me for reusing content, so I can't show you what we're watching. But YouTube and Twitch has that on if you want to go and check. We're watching the press release of Trump.
everyone knows it's the way it is. They, for years, would just say, no, 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 it's medicine got more expensive for us. It would stay. They said, nope, you can't sell it in this country. Let the United States pay. And we had other presidents, all of them, said, okay, we'll pay. So we were subsidizing the entire world. We're not doing it anymore.
That is completely fabricated and untrue.
Thing having to do with drugs in the history of the purchase of drugs. And I don't think
that was loud.
maybe press will.
Hey, Irish Paul, thanks for the sub.
As a story. This is the biggest front page story that you'll ever see. This is a huge...
oh dear, you know it's bad when the press releases Trump.
Healthcare, because a big part of healthcare is drugs, pharmaceuticals, right, Oz? And this will have a tremendous impact.
Hi man, what's up? What up? Are you
shing
8087?
The biggest
How you
impact
doing?
is going to be that
we skipped yesterday,
the money should
so
be
now we're
paid
back.
not to the insurance companies, directly to the people, and the people will buy their own health care. So we're going to be working that. The problem is that the Democrats are very much controlled by the insurance companies that make all that money, but we're not going to let that happen.
Second grade vocabulary.
Starting next year, American drug prices will come down fast and furious. and will soon be among the lowest in the developed world. So in other words, whatever the lowest price for a certain drug, of which these companies make much of it,
South Park has been
whatever the
fun
lowest
last
price
5
is,
episodes. Oh yeah.
that price will come down to that price.
South Park
So we
has
will get
become
the
great
lowest
again.
price
No,
anywhere in
South
the
Park
world.
never
If
was
they're lower
bad,
in England
but
than they
like
are in Germany, we
this
take the
season is
England
just fucking
price.
great.
As of today, 14 out of 17 largest pharmaceutical companies have now agreed. 14 out of 17. Oh, those three they're in deep trouble. But actually, they've agreed because I think those three companies are coming in at a different time next week. So they've agreed. Johnson & Johnson is one of them, right?
After the holidays.
Why? They couldn't do it faster?
No, we're going to be talking about Trump RX.
Oh, okay. Trump RX. Trump RX is doing well. As of today, 14 out of the
Congrats on
17
the
largest
F-35 induction,
pharmaceutical
bro.
companies,
Just
but
hope you
they've
don't
all
need
agreed,
a
have
upgrade.
now agreed to drastically lower drug prices for their American patients.
All right, we're talking about drug prices now. So drop in your guesses. How big of a percentage is he gonna shout out this time? Is it gonna be 600 like Cardboard said a moment back, or are we gonna go even lower? I'm gonna say that he usually like tries to out himself all the time, so he's gonna go up to 800% probably this time. He uses very big words. The words he uses are the best words. No one else can say the words he say. I mean, like the words he uses are the biggest and the best words ever. Like, Sleepy Joe Biden didn't use big words. Sleepy Joe Biden used only small words. He probably used all the words, autocorrect to use his words. Hey, what up, Sanklap? He's about to invade Venezuela also.
For the American people and patients.
True.
This
He needs oil.
represents the greatest victory for patient affordability in the history of American healthcare by far. And every single American will benefit. So this is the biggest thing ever to happen.
Someone
on
broke
drug
in and stole
pricing
my
and
limbo
on
trophy,
healthcare.
all-time low.
This will have a tremendous impact on healthcare
Billions
itself.
and billions of
I want
dollars.
to thank Sanofi CEO Paul Hudson. Paul? Hi, Paul. I hope
Hi.
we have you in some order. I'll be checking. Okay, well, we'll do the best we can. Thank you,
Oh my
Paul. Great
God.
company, by the way.
Fucking cringe.
Novartis CEO Vas Narasimhan. Thank you very much, Vas. Great job.
I wonder how that name is really pronounced, because I have a feeling that Trump butchered it.
Genentech CEO Ashley Megaragri. Where are you, Ashley?
Oh, you shouldn't have people with like difficult surnames in
Great
there.
companies. Behringer Inc. President John Michael Bors. John Michael.
Did you see Trump's TikTok? No, I didn't. Do I even want to see it?
Gilead CEO Dan O'Day. Dan? Thank you, Dan. Great job.
Water.
It's a good company.
Thought White House only
Bristol
has a Coke
Myers Squibb
button.
Executive Vice President
We're talking
Carrie
about Coca-Cola,
Gallman.
right? Not Coke.
Carrie?
The Coke button is reserved for Don Jr.
GSK CEO Emma Wormsley. Emma?
Did we get the files already?
Merck CEO Rob Davis. Great company. Thank you. Great company. How long have you been CEO? Almost 5 years. Very good.
Where the hell are the files? That's why everybody is here. It's like because we want the files. It's crazy. A lot of ICE things. Oh yeah, like those AI generated and using different copyrighted music. He can't pronounce English words properly, bro. Forget about others.
And Amgen Executive Vice President and CFO Peter Griffith.
Did you see Bill Gates photos? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And like I stated in the
Okay? Fake
in
news.
the videos I've done about Epstein Files, and also in the last stream about Epstein Files, like
you to
Bill
be
Gates is
healthy.
kind of
Are you
cooked.
all right?
They had a fucking framed photo of Bill Gates in the wall
camera's
as
not
well,
okay,
in
but
the
it's okay.
like
That's
in the
more
living room of Epstein's island.
We
Like
have good
Bill
medicine
Gates is
for you. If
cooked.
you need some medicine, one of them can take good care of it. We're also joined by Secretaries Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
They are supposed to
Howard
be released
Lutnick,
today. I want my legal
ambassador,
yellow. Yeah,
really, some
100%.
incredible ambassadors.
That's why we're waiting.
Administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz. And the
Oh,
FDA
Dr.
Commissioner
Oz,
Marty
Dr. Death.
McCary, they're doing a
He's a
phenomenal job. Thank you.
scumbag too. During his days, he was extremely
For decades,
anti-competitive.
Americans have been
Yeah.
forced to pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs by far, not just a little bit.
Okay.
We were like a whipping post, the United States, and it's just been 4% of the world's population. We have 4% of the world's population, and consumers pay only 13% of all prescription drugs. Yet
Somebody needs to explain to Trump why the prescription drugs cost so much in the US. It's not everybody else's fault. It's the cartel that the insurance companies, the pharmaceutical companies have, which is because the insurances are covering certain drugs and everything else is expensive. So they have risen all the prices throughout like decades, because it's just wild that we're having a conversation why the drug prices are so fucking high. Why EpiPen costs $600 in the United States. It's not because of like every other country. It's because those are necessary. Insurance will cover it. So the manufacturers and the pharmaceutical companies can pump up the prices because they know that they're going to get their money's worth. Also, the insurance companies knows they're going to get their money's worth. So everybody gets money except the normal person, you know? God, he's so stupid. Yes, you're correct. Hey, man, thanks for letting me run pipe with your wife. You're a legend, dude. Hey, no worry, Doomsy. A lot of middle-class American come to India for medical tourism because it's cheaper here. If you want to watch a really good documentary, Michael Moore drug documentary. No. Medicine documentary. Medical documentary. What? Sicko. Yeah. What's Sicko? You can think about whatever you want to about Michael Moore, but I highly recommend watching Sicko. Legend. Everyone gets their kickbacks in the drug industry. I think like Sicko is a really old documentary as well. I think this was made like before 2010s. Did you see about the Russian border guard who briefly crossed into Estonia? I read something about that briefly. I can actually catch up with that today while we're waiting on the Epstein Files. But medicine and medical tourism isn't a new thing in the United States. Because of course, if Americans want... Because what the insurance companies cover isn't always the best medicine for the patient itself or the consumer. So if the patient wants a different drug, they need to pay it themselves, and of course those cost like fuck. You need to literally give them your arm. So they just travel to Canada or Mexico to get that drug for like 1/10 of the price. So medical tourism isn't a new thing in the United States. Go to Turkey for cheap teeth jobs. I would be hesitant to go to Turkey because I've seen in the late like few months a lot more of those like
4%
bad
of the
jobs
population,
from Turkey.
13% of prescription drugs, and yet the people behind me, who are wonderful people,
Who are
make
wonderful people.
75% of their profits from the American customer. So they understood that better than anybody, that we have to do something. That's why I
Any
signed
thoughts
an
on starting a
executive
civil
order
war?
instructing my administration
No,
to do
I haven't
everything
really
in its
checked
power
that.
to slash prescription drug prices for Americans while getting other countries to pay more. And we don't want more, we want just fair. We want to pay the same thing. They used to blame it, remember, on research
Is
and
this a mobile
development.
game?
And I said, well, research and development for everybody. And everybody understood it. As a result,
No.
the United Kingdom's National Health Service agreed to pay the fair share for prescription drugs for the first time in 26 years. And we expect other countries in Europe we'll do the same. And if they don't, we're going to put tariffs on them, and we'll get the same amount of money plus. We'll take a nice.
No. That's not how it works. This is the stupidity of Trump. If you have a country in Europe that imports stuff from the United States, and you put tariffs on that specific country in Europe. Let's talk about Ireland, for example. Ireland has Johnson & Johnson, a majority of the big pharmaceutical companies here. The American pharmaceutical companies. All the Irish people know that this. Is Trump slurring against? Yes, he is. Didn't he call up journalist Piggy a few weeks ago? Oh yeah. But if Trump puts tariffs in for Ireland for buying pharmaceutical products from the United States, make a wild fucking guess. Who pays tariffs? Ireland isn't importing stuff to United States from Ireland. This is the lunacy of Trump and Trump's understanding of tariffs. His favorite word of tariff. End consumer pays for it. Yes. And the funniest thing when he's saying that he's going to put tariffs because he wants us to pay more for American pharmaceuticals. We aren't importing those to the United States. Like,
nice return on the money. We signed historic agreements with Pfizer, Eli Lilly, AstraZeneca, Novo Nordisk, and EMD, Serrano, to reduce prices by 300, 400, 500, 600, and even 700.
700, the highest.
100%, and sometimes even more than that.
Oh, even more than that. Let's hear that again.
Prices by 300, 400, 500, 600, and even 700%, and sometimes even more than that.
God damn. I was so close. One more time.
Serrano, to reduce prices by 300, 400, 500,
600,
600, and even
700%,
700%, and sometimes even more than that. I remember when I...
That's so fucking stupid. He thinks people are going to pay tariffs and the extra income by the government will pay a part of the debt. I think that's the theory going on currently. I think the funniest thing about tariffs is like Republicans cheering on tariffs and they're literally just extra taxes. I was just having a conversation with my wife today about the YouTube and TikTok short I made about the tariffs. That Trump said that they've already brought 18 trillion because of tariffs, which is a complete lie. The number is like 200 billion. But that's not the funniest thing. The funniest thing is Trump believes that tariffs are somehow special. They're just a fucking tax. And the GOP, who's the most anti-tax there is cheering a tax on American importers. American companies that are importing stuff from other countries need to pay tariffs. Then they increase the price. So the consumers pay the tariffs as well. MAGA don't believe in medicine, so it won't affect his foreign base. We are exporting to USA, and the USA customer who consumes the product pays the tariffs, not Ireland or China. Yeah. Trump failed at business school. I don't think Trump ever went to business school, or if he went to business school, it was probably one of those like on the back of the cereal box, like Captain Crunch had. You needed to follow a line, and then you all of a sudden have a business degree. I think that's the thing. But like, Trump doesn't understand tariffs, and Trump doesn't understand like percentages. Do you think imposing tariffs will make the USA great? No. Why would it? He's saying that he's gonna remove income tax and replace it with tariffs, which is you're removing one tax and replacing it with another tax. That literally makes no sense. Trump got into Wharton because he was a legacy administrator. Well, there you go. Nepotism. Like, you have income tax. I think there was a graph. Income tax replaced by tariffs. Because the amount of income tax that the US government is getting at the moment is so freaking a lot that tariffs will never be able to cover the income tax. The math doesn't add up. So the individual income tax is roughly half of federal revenue. I got 740 in GMAT and couldn't get into any of the Ivy Leagues. So it's just not possible. But I mean, if you completely live in a la-la land, you don't need to worry yourself with these numbers. Individual federal income tax in 2024, projected tariff revenue in 2034. So this is just the federal income tax of 1 year. Imagine if we count that by 10, it's still not enough. Has Trump fallen asleep in mid-speech? Not yet.
I had a news conference in my first term. I was the first president that reduced prices from.
Do you think Trump will win the next election?
To the
He can't run the next election.
From January to December.
Thank fucking God there's a.
And I thought it was the greatest thing.
Constitution doesn't allow more than 2 terms for president, which is a good thing.
That are so incredible. 1/4 of one. Think of that. I was proud of it because it hadn't happened in 28 where drug prices went down. Well, now you're going to see numbers that nobody would believe possible.
Do you know what nobody would believe possible? That those drug prices are going down that much. Because they're all made up. Go back to where you came from. The US isn't your concern. What? Sputnik. Hey, do we really have a Russian bot here telling me to go back? Yes, we do. Nice.
Think of that. 500, 600, 700, 800%. Today we're building on these accomplishments. The companies assembled in this
AOC
room
is going to be JD Vance, I think so.
All of their drugs to
literally there is no law
against.
Nations.
Pricing,
I don't know, Gavin Newsom could be a really good one too. JD 2028, let's go.
The lowest price paid anywhere in the world. And they will list their most popular drugs on TrumpRx.gov. Trump.
Thanks for the happy birthday. Still not my birthday though.
And I didn't name it that. Somebody named it that. And I guess they assumed that was. Did you name it Oz or Bobby name it?
No, that's not spam. Okay. Carville's comes to say happy birthday every time.
And so far that's turned out because
Erica Kirk already endorsed JD. I know. They're probably going to get married soon.
And you're going to get massive discounts to all.
Release the fucking files. I do agree with that. We already know that it is now past 3 p.m., which was the time 2 sources had told the BBC US partner CBS News that the documents would be made public. That's true. Where the fuck are the files? Check the trash bin for the files. Even MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene is asking, where the fuck are the files? Benedict Arnold was a traitor. At least he wasn't a pedophile and a moron. That got censored by YouTube, but I had to read that. True. Under the new ballroom. That's the reason why they're building the ballroom, is like hiding the files there. But unfortunately, this is probably going to be the reality of the files. Because there's too much at stake. I hope that the Department of Justice is put to trial why they are not abiding the law. Trump administration, rich pedophiles. MG Green, she's turning into a Jedi. She's having her own, like, hero arc. Even though she's a piece of shit, though. The files are going to be redacted to hell, so it will be pointless. I mean, we can still get a good sense, like, we already know who's they're gonna be. They're like, Bill Gates is gonna be there. Steve Bannon is gonna be there. Bill Clinton is gonna be there. Donald Trump is gonna be there. If Donald Trump isn't there, we know that they have redacted a bit too much, because we already saw that Donald Trump is all around Epstein and all around people with Epstein. So there's a lot of Democrats and Republicans we already know that's gonna be in the files. So the more interesting thing is, I want to see how widespread this is. And I also want to see people put to justice and to jail by being acquaintances with Jeffrey Epstein, or friends or business partners. Trump got in trouble with the ballroom. Oh yeah. But he said that he's still going to build it, even though they said that he can't do that. Because he's Donald Trump,
so massive discounts will be.
Epstein has been in politics since the mid-1990s, since the days of Clinton. It would implicate a lot more Democrats than it would be would Republicans. Probably, I know that. But I do know that Trump is going to be there as well. Trump was 100% there, however, they will not release Trump evidence. Because Trump used to be a Democrat as well. Trump even donated to Bill Clinton. So Trump sucking Bill Clinton's dick is probably the most... that's the one thing that I think is going to be in the files, hopefully. Is evidence of that. Is Bubba a horse or Bill Clinton? Is Boris Johnson, ex-PM of UK, in the files? I do hope Bojo is in the files so I can shit on Bojo. Oh my god. Bojo. Both. Boris Johnson. Remember the robot pictures of Boris Johnson? These were the most fucking hilarious things I've ever seen. And this guy was the Prime Minister of the UK. Any impact in India from this file? I don't think so. Which country are you from, by the way? Finland. I wouldn't be surprised. We want Russia Trump video sex tape. That is why Putin owns Trump. Yeah, I do think that there's some saucy videos. Never mind, just read it. No worries. You can ask. It's not a secret. I live in Ireland now, but I'm from Finland originally. I've been in Ireland for 3 years. God damn. Yes, there will be an impact in India. The curry price will go up. So really? We saw Bojo in the tube. When we were in London before COVID hit. It was the weirdest shit ever. Like, Bojo came to the tube with his bike and helmet on and was just casually chatting about when everybody was just shitting on him. And then he just wished everybody a good day and fucked off. Everybody was just shitting on him. And the funny thing is, my wife didn't recognize Bojo until we got off the tube and I said that you do realize that was Boris Johnson. Because he had his helmet on the whole fucking way. Ireland the best and we quit Eurovision. Yeah, I do agree. I do applaud Ireland, Spain, Slovenia, Iceland, and did I forget Netherlands for that? Boris looks like a special needs kid that overcame the odds and somehow made it to the... Oh my god, Alan is so fucking loud. Hey Brenda, thanks for the follow. Boris was a character, though. Stupid
not
as
even
hell,
offered.
but a
It's just
character.
going to be a fact. All consumers will get massive discounts. That's TrumpRx.gov. Every new drug produced by these companies.
Do I even have the balls to search that? Whoa, 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 I'm not in China. Trump.rx.gov. Wait. The lowest prescription prices in America. Trump RX doesn't sell medications. So Trump will give resignation, or still there will nothing happen with these pictures. I don't know. The Republican Party and MAGA are kind of like rushing to protect Trump and his pedophile links, though. So I don't know. It's not a good trust sign when this reads from your page that Trump is hyping that will give the lowest price to consumers. Find your medication, Trump RX, for the lowest price. But we don't sell medication, but find your lowest price. Daddy Trump lowering pharmaceutical prices, let's go. Yeah, Ozempic and other weight loss drugs. The lowest prescription prices in America. Health, simplified for all Americans. Trump RX doesn't sell medication. Instead, it connects patients directly with the best prices, increasing transparency and cutting our costly third-party markups. What the fuck does this have to do with medication? Trump is the GOAT. No, I don't think so. I mean, if you really like people hanging around with Epstein, then he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT of like appearing in Epstein Files without ever knowing about Epstein and the Epstein Files being a hoax, but that makes him the GOAT. Trump is definitely taking meds, 100%. I thought a president is not allowed to have own income and release his taxes. I mean, Trump is not your ordinary president because, like, he's not really a proper president either. But seriously, though, someone needed to do something about Medicare. Oh, yeah, I 100% agree with you, Dio, that somebody needed to do. But it's capitalism, pure and simple. And now that Trump is forcing the pharmaceutical companies to act by threatening them, they don't really have a choice. They would love to make infinite amount of profit from consumers. But because Trump needs to look good before the midterms, so he's doing this now. This is all political. He's doing this so because the Republicans are bound to lose in the midterms because they're doing quite shit at the moment. So this is Trump's Hail Mary, one of them, to give the Republicans a bit of a boost before the midterms. Hey, Top Dogger, thanks for the heart and go popular as always. Trump is a pedo president, so says a Spud, lol. You know nothing what you say. I know quite a lot what I talk about, Spud. You have not proven any point that you know what we're talking about. Other than that your dog's name was Spud. And you're saying that Trump is the GOAT. Even though everything he says is lies. He didn't release the Epstein Files. Source for what? That Republicans are doing bad. Even Trump said it. Even Trump said that pedo allegations. Well, Epstein. No, I didn't say. I've read a comment that Trump is a pedo president. I've always used the term alleged. Mayor of New York is a poke in the eye of Trumpy. Lol. No. Zoran Mamdani is an idol to Trump, though. They even wore the same outfit after, like, Trump started wearing Zoran Mamdani's outfit when they met. That's how big of an influence Zoran Mamdani had on Trump. I think Trump and Modi, India Prime Minister, are the best in telling lies. I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to beat Trump in lies because it comes so natural from Trump. Like, he doesn't even need to think about lies. It's like, it's in his vocabulary. He's just like whipping it. Hasn't released the files, hasn't brought affordability down, hasn't stopped no wars, hasn't given the middle class or poor tax breaks. Yeah, that is true. New York mayor knows how to play against Trumpy. What do you think about India's Modi? Is he just doing dictation? Well, considering like how much Modi is censoring media and news, he's doing quite the same that Trump is doing. Except Modi is doing more of those those typical dictator stuff, which is like literally oppressing media and anybody who talks against like what he's doing. So I think like it's hard to compare Modi and Trump because Trump is still quite moderate compared to Modi. Even though Trump is like 100% trying to affect the media and everybody that what you can and can't say in the United States, killing the freedom of speech, as we know. Modi needs to retire in India, next generation to take over, 100%. And that's why I hope that the Gen Z is going to do an uprising in India as well, like they did in Nepal, Bangladesh, Madagascar, Peru, Bulgaria, Sri Lanka, Philippines. Do I need to go on? Gen Z has done so much around the world, and I hope that Gen Zers in India, in Russia, even in the United States wake up. Because the future doesn't look too bright in those countries, in the government that they have, and they need change. And unfortunately, the old people, the boomers, don't really give a fuck about the youth. So they only care about themselves. So the only way to make change is by overthrowing the government. I worry about Thailand. I would go there again, but the army seems to take control over the government. Yeah, and Thailand and like Bangladesh's war is it's kind of worrying me as well. Public just blindly follows him just because of biased media. This is the only reason he became. Yeah, because like he controls what goes out. Like it kind of reminds me of somebody. Never surrender America first. Where's the files? And replace them with what? You're just replacing bad with worse when it comes to third world politics. You don't know that. We don't know that. At least they have to say now. That's a bit of a broad blanket statement, Dio. Like, that's also kind of a lazy statement. Well, it's not going to be any better, so no need to do anything now. But that's why the youth is actually trying to do something in those countries, because they've noticed that the governments of those countries don't care about them. Even in some countries like Bangladesh and Nepal, they're discriminated against the youth compared to the elderly. So the only way that they can see that they have a future in that country is by impacting change. And if you surrender to the government and not be like, okay, this is my life now, well, then we can agree with that. Modi or BGB will win this election again because they also control the election commission. I've tried to get up to date with the Indian elections, but god damn, that's even more complicated than the electoral college in the United States. The Apprentice, Alan Sugar UK version better than USA Celebrity. I don't know, the Apprentice was kind of good though. Not gonna lie. Just because how fucking fake it was. But again, where is the files? No later than 30 days after the date of enactment of this act, the Attorney General shall, subject to subsection B, make publicly available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials in the possession of the Department of Justice, including the Federal Bureau of Investigations and United States Attorney's Office that relate to 1. Jeffrey Epstein, including all investigations, prosecutions, and custodial materials. Ghislaine Maxwell, flight logs or travel records, including but not limited to manifesting. These were supposed to be released now. Trump ugly as fuck. I do agree with that.
In the future,
but then again, like we can't do anything without looks. Like I'm not the most handsome man there are. But I can't really, like, of course I could take like plastic surgery, but I don't feel comfortable with that. This is me. Like, I have to just accept it and embrace it. So I kind of enjoy that we have different looks. Brother, can I subscribe to your channel? Of course you can subscribe to my channel. You don't need my permission.
will permanently be offered to American patients.
But Dio, if you knew about I want to touch about those third world politics that you're talking about. If you know anything about the protest and the Gen Z uprising in many countries, one of the major reasons why there were those uprisings was because they were against also corruption, because the governmental officials were embezzling money, well, and all the other corrupt stuff that you can do as a governmental official. One of the worst things was in Philippines, which is they had those huge floods now, and they have a flood treasury. So if floods happen, they have money put away to help the citizens who are affected by the flood. Unfortunately, the department who was responsible for that money, well, embezzled it. So you would kind of think that, oh, well, nothing's going to change, so we just need to accept it. Well, the Philippines said, like, fuck that. They arrested every single one of them. And they're going away for a long time. And I even think the Philippines have the death penalty. Because you need to show that corruption, treating your citizens, isn't okay. You can take the road of like, oh, okay, well, replace them with what's gonna, like, this is not gonna affect in the long run, blah, 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 way of doing things. Or you can try and change them. And because the CIA controlled the NGOs, at least in Nepal. What?
At most favored nation prices. You know, people used to talk about that for years, but nobody ever did.
I remember, well, like reading some of the comments that the uprising in Hungary was also controlled by foreign governments, and the uprising in Slovakia and Bulgaria. Bull fucking shit. The citizens know that if your government is working with Russia, you don't really like that, you know? The Gen Z revolt in Nepal was controlled by outside. Of course it was.
Did anything about it. No other president did. And it wasn't easy.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Corey.
Great, and I'm so proud of the people behind me. As an example of the price reductions we have secured through these new agreements, Santa Fe will cut the cost of its blood thinner, Plavix, from $750 to less than $16.
$750 to $16. That's still not 800%, according to my math. Gen Z can't control India because here people only do Hindu, Muslim, and fight for the religion. Slurring again, replay it.
Secured through these new agreements, Santa Fe will cut the cost of its blood thinner, Plavix, from $750 to less than $16.
Oh, kind of.
Wow. Where's Santa Fe? Where are you? What? That's incredible, huh? Could have gone to $17, maybe. That's amazing. And you're going to do tremendous business. You're going to do much more business. So that's hepatitis B medication. Maybe because of the November 5th election. But because of tariffs, they're going to be coming in.
The pharmaceutical companies should be fined for those kinds of markups. Oh my, yeah, I do. I agree 100% with you, Dio. Oh my God, I think it was, I don't remember if it was George W. Bush's era or Obama's, but they tried, but they lost the vote. It's so many years ago. I feel like such an old fucking fart, but there was a time when they tried to make the pharmaceutical companies be fined for those sort of markups, because it's been, like I said, throughout decades, because it's the most evil way of capitalism that you can think of, because there are companies that are making these sorts of markups with people's lives. Daddy Trump's strong arming corporations. This is so close to communist dream. Oh my God, I'm all for that. Nah, just kidding. Like, there are. Okay, I wanna hear. There's a lot of people watching in YouTube, and I don't know how many people are in Twitch because I can see, but like, there are some fields that shouldn't be up for profit, and this is my opinion. Like, my economics idea is like, we need a healthy free market that's regulated. We also need a healthy public sector that is also regulated. And we need that like trifecta. The justice system is looking over the government is looking over the president is looking over the justice system. So there is no one point of power, because otherwise that can become corrupt. So, but there are some fields that I think that shouldn't be up for profit, could be privatized, but shouldn't be maximizing profit. One of them, unfortunate for a lot of billionaire company owners in the United States, is going to be pharmaceutical companies. I think medicine, Medicaid, health services, and like those shouldn't be up for profit. Healthcare, medicine, any pharmaceutical shouldn't be up for profit, because we're talking about human lives. That's one. Electricity is another one. Especially in the United States, that's good. That would be easily fixed. Between New Mexico and Texas and Nevada, you have so much empty fucking desert that I think I'm not a huge fan of Elon Musk, but Elon Musk did the calculations that if you only covered a fraction of that desert with solar panels, you could provide electricity to half of the United States. Or was it a third? I think it was a third of the United States, so if you make it a bit larger. But electricity is another one. Of course, water is kind of a given. Us in Ireland, we don't pay anything for water, so that's kind of good. Water should be also fine. What up, Kushal Bakhtar? And the last one, which might be a bit controversial. This might be a bit controversial, but I'm all for that. You know, like anybody who's watching me longer than 5 minutes know that I'm not scared of controversies. But I do think that fresh food shouldn't be up for maximizing profit. I'm not saying that not for profit, but maximizing profit. I think that fresh food should always be cheaper than processed food. Of course, how would we do that? Well, it's with taxation, so. Big boom is coming. Think so? People love to say things should be free, but no one wants to pay taxes. No, I want to like this is what we talked about. Any update? Just a sec. Epstein Files released. Oh, well, I'll just answer that first, then we go to the Epstein Files, which is the whole reason of the stream. People love to say things should be free, but no one wants to pay taxes. That's an American thing. Or to work produced goods. There's people always who are willing to work to produce the goods. So again, those are kind of anecdotal. But let's take myself. I can provide myself and my family a relatively good life. I don't mind paying more taxes to help people who are not doing as well. I could even pay more taxes. You know, that's an American thing, though. You live in a tax haven country, look around yourself. No, I don't. I thought all of us in Europe pay taxes more than 50%. According to the Americans, we pay taxes like 60%, 50%. Ireland is a top tax haven country. We still pay a lot of taxes. It's not a tax haven country, though. If I want that, I would go to Malta, or there are other places that I consider to be like almost half of your salary is still quite a lot, though, right? Do I need to show my tax returns to you? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other people put their money in Ireland to avoid paying taxes. I know. I mean, there are ways to reduce your taxes and such, but I don't mind paying taxes, though. And I was the same in Finland as well. You the exception. Most would not want to pay more taxes to benefit others. Than the hell do you hear yourself? Please publish all photos of Epstein's files. Users can charge other countries like tariff. Like that's the like I was brought up. I was super poor. Like my family was really poor when I grew up. So I think that has something to do with it. Because now that I'm making a bit of money, I don't mind providing help to people who don't have as much. I think that my childhood and my upbringing brought some perspective. Then, of course, we have the other side of the coin. My wife was born with a silver spoon so far up her ass that she got everything she wanted, like a really, I wouldn't say rich family, but they were doing better than normal. But she has the same mindset, though. She does like spending a bit more than me. I'm a bit cheap when it comes to, like, I think that's also because of my, like, upbringing. Hi, are the Finnish people really interested in the Epstein Files? Fuck yeah! Who wouldn't want to see them? It's easy for people to get elected promising to reduce taxes, and it's easy to change the tax rates, but it's near impossible to get elected by promising to raise taxes. I agree. Finland has done that somehow. There's been like a lot of politicians getting elected by promising to increase the taxes. Maybe us Finns are just fucking weird. I'm wondering where can we view the files. Guardian usually promises me places where I can view them. Where the fuck is Guardian? Jutta, get on it. Find me a place to view them. You can find... I'm not a robot. Oh, there we go. Do we have time? Found them. I just took a dump. Nice. All right. I'm not downloading all the data, and I probably... No, fuck it. Can you post a link? Of course I can. Come on. Or we just no. You don't have to go to the Guardian, especially because like somebody could take that as I'm directing traffic towards Guardian and I have no affiliation with Guardian. I just like how Guardian always provides the links to the files, and it's one of the only news sources that do that. How you doing, Uncle? I'm doing fine, Theodore. How are you doing? How will I? I need to cut the recording and start a new one because that was a long rant. Let's see. Everybody see the pictures all right? All right. Where's the next button? Oh my god, don't tell me that. Isn't there a next button? Oh, they haven't made this easy. Oh my god. Do I hey, thanks for the sub, Oli. Download the Epstein Files PDFs and put them in Grok or ChatGPT and tell it to produce the names of all people who are guilty of wrongdoing. I'm downloading a zip file of them. I saw some of the new photos released yesterday from Epstein Files and it made me sick. The Lolita graffiti. Oh yeah. I agree. Turn on BBC News. All hail based Mega Hitler. What's live at the top?
Told him he was in the Epstein Files, and we've had his chief of staff in that Vanity Fair article say he's in the Epstein Files. He reversed himself, and we've only gotten to this point where they're now being released because enough Republicans joined a Democrats' discharge petition to get this bill passed to force this transparency on the administration. I do think, though, this today and then just going forward, this is going to be an ongoing battle because A, it looks like they're releasing these files in batches, and then B, they're probably going to redact some of this information. And if suspiciously a lot of these files that come out, none of them have Donald J. Trump's name on them, there's going to be larger questions of why aren't those files being released, because we know they exist.
Mally Smith, can I ask you, obviously we're still waiting for the files to be released, or the first batch of them anyway to be released. But do you think, I mean, in terms of politics...
My question is, why weren't these files released under Biden? Good question. That is a good question.
A bit nervous.
I would have wanted them to be released already, like during COVID. That would have been the best time.
I can certainly tell you.
I think that was a L from Biden
my 10
and
years that I served
administration.
in Congress, not one conversation did I have with any of my colleagues, Republican or Democratic, about Jeffrey Epstein or Epstein Files. I don't know the answer to that. Some of the politicians that will likely be included are the ones that people have already known.
I have to say I'm a bit doubtful of downloading the whole data set, because I know it's a governmental page, but I also know that there's probably quite a lot of people trying to put stuff in those files.
Of these documents,
gonna,
is it enough?
affect your PC.
The Trump administration, he said, had 30 days to release all the Epstein files, not just some. But I mean, surely, you know, it is necessary to redact some of them, just in terms of not identifying victims of Jeffrey Epstein.
Certainly. I think we should make sure that we're not compromising any active investigations, or that we are protecting. We need to make sure we're protecting the victim's identity on this. But I think given the fact that the Trump administration has fought tooth and nail
it's not that big.
Against the release,
it's just
it does
1.2
beg the question
gigs.
of, is it really because they are taking their time to make sure that there is proper redactions, or
I'll
is it
download
because
the
they're
first set
combing,
so we can check through them.
the files to make sure Trump isn't in anything they release? But look, everything needs to be released, and this is going to be damning for people in both parties, because what we've seen through this whole scandal is that a lot of famous people, important people, rich people had strong ties to Jeffrey Epstein even after some of the serious allegations came to light, and they're going to be held accountable for some of those connections.
All right. Mally and Rodney, stay with us. We're going to be coming back to you in a moment, but over this hour,
as a person who works with AI, like ChatGPT is at the moment, unless you buy the premium version of it, like the free version of ChatGPT is the worst free version that you can get. Grok is probably up there though. Why is Frumpy Trump taking over our Fridays, lol? Need a fucking drink. We need the files though. Almost downloaded. Then I need to pull out another source for you guys. Claude is my favorite AI. I need to look into that one. Trying to figure out a good one. Extract all. Definitely not gonna download them to my C. E-files. I'm not gonna write Epstein files on my fucking computer. So I'm gonna just name the file location to E-files. That would be stupid of me to create a folder on my PC that reads Epstein files. That would be fucking damning, right? All right, I got the first data set. Just letting you know we passed 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. God damn, nice. Thanks, everyone. No, I don't want to open them like this. Who the fuck makes them a PDF file all of... This is ironic. All the pictures are PDFs because it's a data dump from a PDF case, if you get what I mean. Back later. PS, thanks. Thanks, everyone. My God. There's quite a few files here. In that first image set, we have 1,000 documents. 1,000 PDF files. I wonder if we can do that better. Just a second, guys. Let's try and figure out, can we do this?
Sarah, we saw the Department of Justice say that they would not be releasing the entirety of the files today. That would come in the coming weeks. The Department of Justice was, however, compelled to release all of the files by the end of today. What kind of enforcement mechanism is there to ensure that these files are released? What do we know about that?
I mean, the DOJ is going to be in violation of this law when they fail to release all of the files. I mean, what all is a really broad question, because there are some, significant exceptions in the law that the DOJ may claim that some of these materials fall into. But by the DOJ's own admissions this morning, they are not going to release
free market
all
is
of the
probably
materials
the main one that I agree with.
Even as of today.
But it needs to be regulated.
As you ask about enforcement,
I don't agree with
some
unregulated
mechanisms to do that. They're not particularly
and also
effective, right?
Capitalism as a whole isn't a bad idea. it's just usually it's completely
made,
screwed
but
up.
Essentially,
By
DOJ
greed,
is
if that makes sense.
the enforcement body, a significant enforcement body for our society. So it is hard to enforce the enforcement body.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Sarah, always good to get your analysis. Thank you so much for joining us.
Did I fucking crash?
Now, we are still waiting for the details of the files that have been released, but...
Thank you.
Let me show you that what
if
our
my stream
BBC News
crashes,
website
it's
is
because I
showing, and this is
tried
one
to
of the
open all the
pictures
files at once.
That is, I think, the first of the pictures to be released in this latest batch of Department of Justice files. And what our reporter in New York is saying is that he's been skimming through the first 30 pages of what the Justice Department...
Thoughts on Israel?
And that
I think Israel needs a new leader and leadership.
Several PDFs, and these are photographs. And our reporter's saying these are quite mundane photographs of rooms, but this one is the first that we actually have got a copy of, and it's looks like a bedroom with a double bed in it, a desk, a chair, a dressing gown hanging on a door,
on Iran.
and U.S. Department of Justice stamped on the bottom of that picture. So that appears to be the first of the hundreds of thousands of documents that we are expecting.
They need a regime change as well. They need to revert back to
Jeffrey
the pre-religious era before the 80s.
Mally Smith, Democratic strategist as well.
If you go back in time,
so we are still waiting for the details. All we've seen so far, that picture of
in time, and watch like Iran in the 60s and the 50s.
This is going to answer so many of the questions.
Thoughts on Islam
around the world, and especially in the United States.
I don't really hold any religion higher or lower because I'm an atheist, so I think all religions are in a sense kind of pointless, and people do horrible stuff in the name of religion.
Great fodder for conspiracy theories. So I think this is probably going to open up a can of worms for about questions regarding
all religion have good actors and bad actors. So I don't see one religion worse than the other.
You would hope that sunlight is the best.
What does it feel like to live in a country dominated by the Catholic Church? I don't care.
We're probably going to have some questions answered, but a lot of questions are going to be had.
Like, Finland was dominated by the Lutheran Church, which is a Protestant church. Doesn't bother me. I don't like, this is also a pretty weird statement from an atheist, but I don't mind religion if you need that comfort for because you're afraid of dying or what's going to happen, or if you need reason, that's fine. But whenever you start to act horribly on the name of religion, whether you're a Catholic priest molesting children, or whether you're a member of ISIS who is killing Jews or non-believers in the name of religion, or whether you're Bibi Netanyahu who is killing Palestinian children in the name of his religion. When you start acting horribly in the name of your religion or your beliefs, that's where I have the issue.
There is not going to be enough for some people.
Cowardly take all religions equally, but that's the truth, Deo. They are. Regarding the Epstein Files. There's 1.6 billion Muslims in the world. What percentage are you going to say is going to be bad? You think the USA controls a lot of things in Pakistan? I'm not sure. USA controls a lot of things in foreign governments. Churches are mostly empty in Scandinavia. I do know that. I went to church. I didn't believe in anything. I went there for a hangover cure. Whenever I was drinking with my friends, not always, but sometimes when we were drinking with my friends and we had one of those like all-nighters, went to bed at like 6 o'clock in the morning, we would go to church because it cures your hangover. I'm sorry for your repent before it's too late. Jesus Christ is the only way. I am Jesus Christ.
Our reporters are actually right now going through a lot.
You can't prove I'm not.
On the Department of Justice website.
I was raised Catholic, pretty close to being an atheist. By age 9, I realized something was wrong. I mean, how do you prove that?
There you see some of the website there, and it gives you a sense of just.
I know that's blasphemous, but again, I don't believe in.
That we're going to see.
I'm not a believer, so I don't really care.
Today is already part of the public domain. The House Oversight Committee had been releasing caches.
Have you ever drunk alcohol in India? No. I have friends who have.
So we're going to see some information.
It was relief to grow up and realize adults were full of shit and lied to me. That was kind of what happened to me as well.
What exactly has been released? There are also videos.
Like, kind of realized that they are all man-made stories to benefit a few and make money and control people. Religions most of the time is about controlling people and also justifying horrible acts. That's something that a lot of people that just want to point fingers to specific religions. For example, the far-right wingers or the neo-Nazis want to point fingers towards Jews. A lot of like right-wingers want to point fingers towards Muslims, or a lot of left-wingers want to point towards Christianity. There's a lot of horrible actors in religions, that's true, but that doesn't mean every single one who believes is horrible.
Because President Trump spent incredible political capital trying to prevent this bill.
React to Asmongold streams, he's going through the files.
By, bringing folks like Lauren Boebert to the Situation Room and having feuds with Marjorie Taylor Greene to prevent the release. Again, the
government is the criminal.
Because the House discharge petition got enough votes, and he knew he was going to lose the vote because Republicans were breaking with him en masse. So he decided to take the loss. And
these can't be real.
And they're already in violation of the transparency law because they're not going to release all of the material today. They've said they're releasing it in tranches, which again is directly in contradiction with the law. They're supposed to release it all today. So House Democrats are going to have to continue to hold oversight over the Trump administration to make sure that they're actually transparent, because no, they're not the most transparent administration in U.S. history. They're one of the least transparent because they are.
Why is the name of the person gathering underage girls redacted? I don't know. I actually don't understand that. I don't know why they're redacting the like, I don't know if it's because it's like, I don't know if it's because the information, 119-page grand jury document entirely redacted according to MS Now. The reason why might be because they got immunity from the previous deal. Because, like, remember, the first time Jeffrey Epstein was caught sex trafficking minors across state lines, there was a second deal that was.
Could I open those, like,
lots of files to try and find, and so far the only picture we've seen that's been released was a picture which is currently on our BBC News website of a bedroom with a double bed.
You can't condemn Nazism, but you can't condemn the ideologies responsible for the mass majority of the contemporary terrorism.
All of this
What?
whole question of Jeffrey Epstein and this saga over the release of the
Just because I don't condemn, like, every single terrorist act that is because of religion, I condemn.
Well, most Americans
And that's the main reason why I fucking hate.
a lot of folks around the world are, but most Americans.
Well, no, I don't hate
worry about
religion
what they're
though.
paying in the grocery store for groceries.
But makes
They're
me
worried about
dislike
gas
religion
prices.
more.
They're worried about getting
It's
their kids
because
to their
people
school
use
events
that
and
as a
sporting events,
scapegoat
and they're worried about making sure
to
they get everything done tonight.
do
and
horrible
wake up and
things.
do their life again tomorrow.
And if
the next
that's
day and the next day.
weak,
They don't
according
really
to you,
read politics.
I don't really give a
And this
fuck
is
either.
about living
You know,
and eating and breathing
that's
politics.
my
However,
point of view.
the longer this issue is out there in the media.
If you're
the
willing
more
to make a
people
blanket
become
statements
interested
to
in
everybody
this.
who
And this is
believes
where Democrats have to be
that
very
they are
careful.
like somehow
President Trump's been
responsible
very
for the horrible
transparent.
acts they do, that's on
Now,
you,
this is a
not
guy
on
who
me.
takes questions from the media every single day. He's more
One of the
transparent
files
than
has
what he's
Donald
been in
Trump's
the White
dirty
House
underwear, be
than any
careful. No, they
administration
don't.
I've ever witnessed
Don't
in my
tempt me.
lifetime.
World War.
And at the same time,
No, they
even
don't.
though he has eventually signed on and supported the release of these documents, it's not going to be enough for many Americans because they're going to continue to believe that the government is hiding something.
If you
And
don't hate
Democrats are going
Nazis,
to
you're
perpetuate
anti-Semitic.
that argument,
I hate
much
Nazis.
to the chagrin of them.
What the fuck?
When their own base turns on them when they get in charge one day.
What the hell is this?
Their base will say,
What
"It's
the hell
not
is this
enough."
conversation? Like,
Right, let's go.
Is there a person who doesn't hate the Nazis?
Nomia Iqbal, who's in our Washington newsroom. Nomia, just tell us, I know it's not easy to look through this stuff that the Department of Justice has released in the last few minutes because so much...
How did we end up here? No, because like they want me to condemn Muslims and the religion of Islam.
Well, I'm going through them, but it's of course not just me.
If you chose the dollar over the shekel... Oh my, no, okay, just calm down there, Erica.
I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of pages. So much is heavily redacted, as we've been saying. And that is something that the Justice Department is allowed to do. It's allowed to withhold material involved in continuing investigations. That is part of the law. I think it's worth saying that the Justice Department knows what these
files
are.
How the fuck do you...
What they're releasing. They've had these files for the best part of the last year. But in terms of what's new so far, so something that I'm looking at the moment is under the data set, and it appears that there are written statements or affidavits, as they're called, by...
Open at your own risk. The truth is through that doorway in that picture.
People who say that they were abused by Jeffrey Epstein. Something else that
okay, now
is the section that says
calm the fuck down, Charlie Kirk's wife.
Records. So BOP stands for Bureau of Prisons, and there's lots of emails in here talking about when Jeffrey Epstein was in jail. He died in 2019. He died by suicide, and there's lots of exchanges.
Bill and Hillary went to Ireland many times. Oh yeah, 100%. Of course they went.
Observing Jeffrey Epstein, saying that he had been removed from suicide watch. He'd stepped down to psychological observation and so forth. And
the fuck was that?
That is because that is a huge part of this whole story that many people are interested in. There are so many people in the MAGA movement that do not believe that Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide. They believe that he was killed because he was a list of powerful people who were involved in crimes, people who flew on his private jets to his private islands and carried
Epstein Library,
and that he was somehow killed because he had access to this list. Now, I don't think that anything in here is going to confirm any of that at all. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think what the Department of Justice is doing here is showing us all the communication that they say that they have on what happened around that period in terms of Jeffrey Epstein and what happened to him and how he died. But this all comes.
I would love to view them all at once.
About as well as your guest, will all of this satisfy people?
Start from set 2.
Will they get the answers to what they're looking for? There are so many conspiracy.
Can you just search with Bill Gates? I can try.
It's safe to say that conspiracy theories never usually die.
No.
In this country, there are so many of them. And it is very possible, I think, that these files, and it's just the first set of files, we're going to get many more over the next few weeks, will probably feed more questions, I think, than answers.
Yeah, Nomia, I am looking at some of the conversations our reporters are having as well around these files as they're searching through them. And I noted that there are a number of photos and videos that have been released as well. We're going to try to get some of them at some point that can be viewed up on our screens as well. But what have you seen? It seems that these are also related to people who have been associated with Jeffrey.
Reader that's fucking up with me.
Yes, there are photos in here that some of them we've already seen. There's 4 folders labeled as images in the first data set. So
the top level is justice.gov Epstein, but you may be put in a queue. I mean, I downloaded the first data set already. I can download the second data set as well.
And there are photos of people who have been previously associated with Jeffrey Epstein that we're going through. That we're just making sure that these photos...
You're doing God's work there, Anuba.
Photos mean. That's the other thing that I think is pretty difficult about all of this, and it has been as well with the documents that were released by...
We have a video.
...today and the week before, is that you get photos of, for example, yesterday we were talking about photos with...
Who the fuck is that guy?
Microsoft co-founder, with
Donald
Trump's former advisor, Steve Bannon.
No, these are the current ones.
The linguist.
There's a video on dataset too. I have no idea who that person is.
And those people themselves have denied any wrongdoing. One of the big questions, of course, is Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. He said that he cut off ties in the early 2000s, but there's a lot of scrutiny on exactly how close Trump was with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, no, that's a really important point that doesn't connote wrongdoing.
The files that have been released have no relevancy to what we want to know. That's kind of sad,
just
though.
Saw a note from one of our reporters that there are a total of 3,951 PDFs that have been released. So a lot to go through there.
There certainly is. And CBS correspondent Erica Brown is following developments from Capitol Hill. Erica,
wait a fucking second. I found something. Accidentally. How the fuck do I show you guys this?
Today for the release of these
Who's that? That's the actor from Rush Hour.
Notably today, Ben, the Deputy Attorney General of the Department of Justice said that only a portion of those files would be released as the department continues to sift through them to try to protect the identities of victims. And that has sparked some strong backlash from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, from Republicans and Democrats, who pointed to that law saying that all of the eligible files needed to be released.
It was actually the day that it won.
Of course, that
Chris Tucker.
with some Democrats even threatening to pursue legal action to compel the Justice Department to release all of the eligible files. But it's notable that that law does allow for some of the documents.
Oh no, it's dataset 2.
They contain any
File number ending 3331.
To the victims or abuse. But as you noted there, these files just coming out, we're sifting through them.
3331. I'll show you guys that one. So there is something there.
Back nearly 2 decades, and photos, videos, transcripts, audio related to the multiple investigations
on the second page, right?
Into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, and evidence from multiple federal agencies.
That's Ghislaine Maxwell and Chris Tucker, right?
Chuck Schumer saying this can't just be a partial release. The Trump administration's had 30 days to release all the files, not just some.
I'm not tripping.
So it's clear
that is Chris Tucker, right?
Be satisfied with anything less than all of the files.
That's absolutely correct. And as I noted there, some Democrats
well, fuck Chris Tucker then.
Pursuing legal action to compel the Justice Department to release all of the.
This is how easy it is. Chris Tucker having such a close relations with Ghislaine Maxwell. Fuck Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker can just straight to Gulag.
Convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's crime.
And
so they are saying that their
Alan Dershowitz also. Yeah.
Information is accounting for the delay, although the Deputy Attorney General says he does.
So much has been redacted, it's a cover-up. I do predict that this person might be a victim, though.
All of the eligible files to be released by the deadline, which is today.
Okay, Erica, thank you very much indeed. That's CBS News correspondent Erica Brown, who's following developments for us from Capitol Hill.
Okay, and as we bring our
wait a fucking second.
Malley, just an update. The documents, as Ben.
That's Kevin Spacey, right?
They are split into 4 batches.
Kevin Spacey and Bill Clinton.
Records, Department of Justice disclosures, House Committee on Oversight.
That's Kevin Spacey and Bill Clinton. Fuck that.
Surveillance video inside.
We of course we know Kevin Spacey's sick son of a bitch, right?
That had been previously released, and a transcript of the Deputy Attorney General.
That's Ghislaine Maxwell.
Interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, who was an associate of Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, so we're gonna go through like that. So
note, that the BBC, as we've been looking through these files, we have found photos that
let's start with the first 10.
So the former U.S. President Bill Clinton in a swimming pool at night.
Kevin Spacey is wrong, and
it's not clear when they were taken. He's seen swimming alongside 2 people. There is another image of him lying on his back, his hands behind his head, appears to be swimming. Now, of course, we don't know when these photos were taken, and they do not imply any wrongdoing, but the BBC has contacted the former...
Hey, wait. That's Bill Clinton again.
On these images. So that's just the latest that we're bringing you. Our team going through these files, these photos.
we need more. Let me get it joined in. Okay, so
as we're doing so, bringing you back into the
do we have a counter? Here. We have Bill Clinton twice.
You know, this really has been
Bill Clinton swimming with, I think this is Maxwell.
The MAGA base, like
could that be Hillary, maybe?
Why do you think that is?
So fuck Bill.
Well, it's because many in the
now, this goes hand in hand with me saying that Bill Clinton has always been here.
Candidates elected at all levels of government. So when you see
this is still Bill swimming there. Bill has pants on though. Bill has pants on. Bill needs to chill. He has. I'll keep those 2 there.
For the MAGA base, like I said earlier, that has been the first time that I've seen that base not really do what the president wants them to do in addressing an issue that he may feel uncomfortable with addressing, or that his administration did not handle as well as the base thought, which is why the Democrats are really jumping on this issue.
Wait a fucking second. That's Bill Clinton again.
It's an issue that is going to continue to get traction.
That's the third picture of Bill Clinton.
And when that base is split,
Bill counter number 3.
Trump voters less likely to come
Fourth picture of Bill. Bill number 4.
And then that the Democrats are more likely to take the House back.
Bill number 5.
President Trump once again.
Oh my God, I missed.
Mally, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of the dog that caught the car, in that they campaigned heavily on this, and they were, very much using this as a tool to talk about government corruption. And let's be clear, it is corruption that someone like Jeffrey Epstein was able to walk free.
How many times? 5 times.
So a lot of the folks in the MAGA base were right about that. But the rollout was handled poorly, and I think that's partially because the folks who were talking about how these needed to be released, they didn't know what was in them. And then once they got in power, we had Pam Bondi give her, binders full of essentially information we already had to MAGA influencers. And since it was information they already had, it inflamed them. They got very angry. And then after that, we basically had the Trump administration.
Do you remember me?
The release. So
I'm
think it
pretty sure I've seen it before here, Kathy.
Promises that MAGA politicians gave to their base, once they got into power, they had trouble executing on, and MAGA folks weren't happy. And then obviously the hypocrisy, it was easy for Democrats.
Don't know who that is.
So it's not an easy solution for them to
That's
get
Bill
out.
Clinton again.
Rodney, I mean, just in terms of
this is in
the
Thailand, right? Those are
does all
Thailand
of this
flags.
matter, do you think, in the United States?
Could be related to this one.
What matters when it comes to the next election, the midterms, that are going to be very difficult for Republicans. I mean, I went through this myself in the 2017, 2018.
I was the one talking to you about Ozzy Osbourne. Oh, yeah.
That has
That's Bill again.
Over 3 presidential elections, that they will only come out to vote when President Trump is on the ballot. President Trump and Republicans need those low propensity Trump only voters to come out in droves in the midterms to stop Democrats from winning seats that they think they can win that would give them the majority. So this
Bill is a really looks like Bangkok. Could be.
If many of those low propensity voters are keenly interested.
Merry Christmas, Kathy.
Issue,
same to you.
Like
this feels like Christmas because we're going through the files.
Let's look at facts. They have been more transparent than any other administration when it comes to releasing the Epstein files. That's why we're talking about those releases today.
Where is number 20?
And let's not underestimate
Bill's Christmas is over.
President Trump and his administration
Bill,
can take advantage of that transparency, and Republicans can too going into that next election.
Mally, I want to put to you, I spoke to a number of Democrat lawmakers over the last few months.
No images produced. That's kind of sus.
No matter who is implicated in these photos, if there's any indication of wrongdoing associated with anybody from the Democratic Party, we will.
That's the Rolling Stones.
Some sort of justice for those victims as well. How much appetite do you think there is in the Democratic Party to look at party donors?
That doesn't really mean anything, right?
With Jeffrey Epstein, the late sex offender, who might be included in these files.
Yeah, I think the appetite is for full transparency.
Okay, this is hilarious.
Oversight committee.
What the hell do we do with this? Do you have Bill in blue dress? Not yet.
Photos that already included President Bill Clinton.
This is not just redacted.
So I think
this is fucking deleted.
I've on this program talked about how President Trump is in the files.
What the fuck is this?
For him, but there seemed to be bipartisan consensus that folks who are rich and powerful hung out with Epstein, and they're all going to be swept up in this release.
What are these redacted files?
If they associated with Epstein, they're going to have a lot of questions to answer, and rightfully so.
Is the search broken? Even searching on Epstein returns 0 results. I think the search is broken.
And Rodney, just another
this isn't what they were supposed to provide us.
Of the White House and how it has handled all of this. We've heard a number of responses from the White House, first saying that there was nothing in these files in the lead up to Congress passing this law. then saying
another one.
President Trump, which is the case, has not been implicated in any wrongdoing, now saying that it is responsible for the transparency of releasing these files.
Well, they are responsible for the transparency of releasing these files. The president could have continued to fight. The administration could have continued to fight the release, but they didn't. And Republicans and even Democrats in Congress.
The fuck is this?
Let's let sunlight.
I told you so many redactions. Not even just redactions. They're like
and now you
back pages.
We've been talking this entire show about the release of the.
They're not files. This is.
Yes, this administration.
I think that was this is fully suspicious. I do believe so myself. I thought that was Prince Charles.
That they're giving the American people in the world right now.
What are we supposed to do with files like this?
Rodney and Mally, once again. Let's go back to Nomia, who is.
Why are we protecting pedophiles?
Through this huge cache of documents that are being released by the Department of Justice. And one thing that
that's a familiar face, but I don't remember who that is.
Nomia, is former U.S. President Bill Clinton in a swimming pool at night. Just tell us once again a bit more of the detail of that you've got.
This is Bill Clinton in the swimming pool. I have that open.
Yeah, so there are two.
I'm gonna make that my screensaver.
Show him in a swimming pool at night. The images aren't dated, so we're not really sure where they were taken. So in one of them, he's seen swimming. I
can tell you one thing that's super sus.
One of them is redacted.
There's images missing between like 3318, 3319, and then it jumps to 3321. What's 3320? Mostly Hollywood people. Yeah, we saw Chris Tucker already earlier.
They've been redacted. Just to remind that President Bill Clinton was.
Why is this file here?
Jeffrey Epstein several times over the 90s and the early 2000s before he was first arrested, the disgraced financier that is. He's never actually been accused of any wrongdoing by survivors of Epstein's abuse, and he has denied knowledge of knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's.
That's Chris Tucker again.
The BBC has contacted the Clintons' office for comment on the new images, but
well, look at that. Good old Bill.
About what Bill Clinton has said in the past, he's denied any wrongdoing. In 2019, a spokesperson
Chris Tucker
knows nothing about the terrible crimes that Epstein pleaded guilty to.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey, Bill Clinton.
Just to let you know, we have had some reaction from an Epstein survivor, Liz Stein.
I don't know, but that looks like Bernie Eccleston, though.
I'm just going to read you a little bit of it. For survivors, this deadline is not symbolic. It's a test of whether transparency will finally outweigh the protection of powerful interests. And also,
this is like Cold War museum that they're in.
Former Prince Andrew.
Kind of looks like it.
White photo. He's laying across 5 women. Their faces are redacted. This appears in data set 3. Standing behind the woman is Ghislaine Maxwell, standing next to another woman whose face is redacted. So we're still going through the files and still trying to understand what they all mean.
Yeah, and Nomia, just give us an idea of how much data we're trawling through here. It's thousands of images, right?
Bill.
Thousands and thousands of images. So much of it's heavily redacted, which we expected. The Attorney General is allowed to, by law, redact a lot of the information.
Snoop Dogg is supposedly, though. Oh, really?
Victims, if it shows any kind of sexual abuse or violence, if it impedes any impending federal investigation.
Yeah, Chris Tucker and that.
National security,
Chris Tucker and Bill Clinton is just fucking wild.
So we
Not surprising, though.
To be released over the course of the next few weeks. You know, as you've been talking on air, there has been huge pressure on the Trump administration.
I'm in Epstein Files too. I believe that, Kindian. I believe that.
Document dump back in February didn't produce anything, and then in July, the Justice Department and FBI said that it's ended its review of the files. It's not going to release anymore, and that sparked a huge outcry. And then there was a reverse in course, and then here we are with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which. Donald Trump.
Could you explain to me why these files were made secret in the first place? The files mean nothing looking through these pictures because nothing is incriminating, right? No. I do think that seeing Bill Clinton being so close to Jeffrey Epstein, we need to hold Bill Clinton accountable as well, just like we did with Prince Andrew, though.
I want to mention as well that we've seen the New York Times report
because
that, Todd Blanche,
what
the
Jeffrey
Deputy
Epstein
Attorney
and
General,
Maxwell did
sent a letter to members
is
of Congress
unacceptable.
saying that the Justice
And everybody who's
Department
been around them should be held accountable.
1,200 names of victims of Jeffrey Epstein or relatives of victims, and that it had redacted or withheld any materials that could reveal their identities. Nomi, as you were reading that statement from Liz Stein, important to point out that it was those victims who were standing aside those that bipartisan coalition.
You know, like this.
Congress, weren't they? I know you were covering that on the Hill, putting pressure on the administration to indeed release these files.
They should testify, tell everything.
As well of those survivors.
True, but someone spoke out against Andrew and nobody has spoken out against the rest of them.
Here. Thomas Massey, a
yeah.
Ro Khanna, a Democrat.
Wait a fucking second, is this Michael Jackson?
Very close to Donald Trump, now completely
Johnny Depp
with him. He has even got his own nickname for her. That's how much he doesn't like her anymore. But when I was there,
I'm not sure if that's Michael Jackson or if that's a puppet.
These are women who have who feel that they've been ignored, that they've been forgotten, and they have been demanding answers. And look, I think it's fair to say as well for a lot.
Yes, he is. MJ is 100% involved.
They aren't just like us. They will be going through all of this and trying to understand what this all means and what is there, what isn't there. And I'm sure over the next few days, few hours, next few days, few weeks, we will hear more from them on it. This isn't the end of it. I think the Department of Justice knows that. I think there'll be lots of questions still that won't...
Okay, I'll take that back. Remember when I said we don't need to investigate the Rolling Stones? I think we now need to investigate the Rolling Stones as well.
Jeffrey Epstein saga has become a byword for government.
It's both. I saw his name somewhere. I doubt this is just a coincidence, probably a wax figure.
Some people out there, many people out there, part of the MAGA base who just will not feel safe.
It's Bill again.
I think no matter what.
Then we have Mick Jagger.
Thank you so much for now. I'm sure we'll be back with you in a few more minutes, but we'll let you have a chance to trawl through more of those documents and those pictures.
It's impossible to predict when this was taken because Mick Jagger has looked the same since the 80s.
Those Department of Justice documents had this to say in the last hour or so.
This could be from the 80s, or this could be yesterday. Mick Jagger hasn't really changed that much.
Documents to
for the past, I don't know, few decades.
Thomas Massey and my law. I've been in touch with Thomas Massey all day. We actually
Wait a fucking second.
The law just to make sure we understand everything that is required of them. First of all, the law requires
here, Bill Clinton sits on the left side of Mick Jagger, and Maxwell is on the right side. But if we go a few pictures forward, we can see Epstein on the left side and Clinton on the right side.
And the rest of the documents they will be releasing in the weeks ahead. It is disappointing that they haven't been able to...
That chef knows more than he was cooking up that day. Yeah, they need to question that chef, though.
Trying at the very least to meet the deadline. They should have been able to do more. And if they couldn't do it, they should have met with the survivors.
Yeah.
Or with the
I have to say that I think Bill Clinton has overtaken Trump on like pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. I think Bill Clinton is at the lead at the moment.
For why they did not release all of them today.
Let's go back to our panel, Rodney Davis and Manny Smith.
The difficulty is separating the pedos from those who weren't involved. Epstein deliberately surrounded himself with famous people to try to hide his crimes. That's why every single one of these people should brought up in front of justice to question. In an open court, to explain the circumstances that they were
with Jeffrey Epstein.
Under oath.
Stunning, that
every single person.
People and kids were affected by this horrible man's actions, and so many people in power let him.
That dude in the wheelchair, Stephen someone, both Bills. Oh yeah. I agree. Bill Clinton and Bill Gates for sure are caught red-handed.
Really, as much as this is a political football, and we're talking about the political.
For a second there, I thought this was Jason Statham, Stephen Hawking.
The reason we're doing this, and the reason we need full transparency, is because Epstein hurt so many young girls' lives, and those
who is that person?
Women deserve as much justice as they can get.
Won't you look at that? Chris Tucker again.
Given the fact that
Chris Tucker apparently enjoyed his time with Epstein.
Will never receive the justice they deserve, but it's our obligation to try to get as close to that as possible.
And Rodney, your reaction to that figure of 1,200 potential victims that the Department of Justice is talking about, according to the U.S. Department Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche?
That makes me angry. Angry to know that somebody like Jeffrey Epstein, a criminal pedophile, was allowed to operate with some of the most influential people in the world. And we have no idea if any of them knew that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. I don't know a lot of pedophiles.
They fucking knew.
But I guess
Chris damn Tucker.
The first thing that they would mention.
They fucking knew.
When I met them. So you have to have some grace within.
All right, what books did he read?
They're implicated in any of these document dumps, and at that point, they should be held accountable for their actions, especially.
Hell yeah! I wonder what those pictures are.
Who are given justice right now in the justice system.
Rodney Davis, Mally Smith, thank you so much for being with us on the program.
He's had some horrible pictures on tables and such.
What is in this huge cache of documents being released right now by the U.S. Justice Department in relation to the late sex offender.
God damn, I need to save all of these pictures. Well, I do have them on my hard drive already. I don't know if that's a good thing. Yeah, people are trying to use the search function, but I don't think it works.
Let's just take a brief reminder.
All right, so the search feature doesn't work.
We're discussing here as what's known as the Epstein Files, which relate to the Justice Department.
I wonder if somebody's already like looked through every single one of them. Too many powerful people to in this whole operation is going to be like drawing blood out of a stone to get the truth.
Of the declassified Epstein Files.
Unfortunately, entry to the US denied forever.
In July, they said no more new material would be released. But in November, that changed. The Epstein Files
DOJ won't meet Friday deadline to release all the Epstein Files.
Overwhelming support for the bill in Congress. That brings us to December 19th. President Trump and his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, required by law by the end
I think the worst thing about the files is like they are not
downloadable formats.
Unredacted. And they should be.
And CBS correspondent Erica Brown is following developments.
Wait.
Capitol Hill. Erica, what's the sense there? Because all of this follows that Transparency Act that was passed.
Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump.
Today for the release of these Department of Justice files.
No passengers.
Well, notably today, Ben, the Deputy Attorney General of the Department of Justice said that only a portion of those files would be released.
We just need one whistleblower, 100%.
To try to protect
Unfortunately, I don't think
victims, and that
I'm
some strong backlash
pretty sure that
on both sides of the aisle, from
the
Republicans
DOJ
and Democrats, who pointed to that law saying that all of the
has protected Trump quite a lot.
Within that 30-day deadline. Of course, that is today, with some Democrats even threatening to pursue legal action to compel the Justice Department to release all of the eligible files. But it's
like these pages are complete bullshit.
Some
we
of
need
the documents to be withheld if they contain any identifiable information related to the victims or abuse. But as you noted there, these files just coming out, we're sifting through them. So far, we realize that they do contain court records, some dating back nearly 2 decades, and photos, videos, transcripts, audio related to the multiple investigations into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, and evidence from multiple federal
Trump will be sued left and right.
And we heard from
he leaves office, like he will be fucked. Oh yeah.
Saying this can't just be a partial release. The Trump administration's had 30 days to release all the files, not just some of them. So it's clear the Democrats are not going to be.
Yeah, we will never know the whole truth while a lot of this was optics to make Trump look bad. Remember, Biden had the same files. I mean, we have to remember that Trump wasn't forced to be friends with Epstein. So blaming that this is making Trump look bad is kind of silly because Trump did this to himself. But I do agree. The Dems dropped the ball during Biden's administration. They should have released the Epstein files then.
Of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's crime. So they are saying that their review of sensitive information is accounting for the delay.
I do agree with that.
The Attorney General says he does anticipate more files will be released over the next few weeks. But of course, for Democrats, that is simply not good enough. They want all of the eligible files to be released by the deadline, which is today.
Yes,
let's get some reaction, though,
unredacted.
From Capitol Hill, Congressman Ro Khanna, who was
This was the danger always, that we're not gonna get the whole like story. We're just gonna get partial truth, and they're gonna hide behind that they are protecting the victims, which is, I don't buy that. As a president, not much will happen because USA will not want to save its image in the world, but after he's gone, then it will be fun. Oh yeah. Who is this? That woman looks so familiar.
Other images show former U.S. President Bill Clinton in a swimming pool at night. The pictures are not dated, and it is not clear.
Who is that woman? Is that some royalty from like Nordic countries?
World News America. It's good to have you with us tonight. Thousands of documents from 2 criminal investigations into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein have been released by the U.S. Department of Justice. Among the files are details of Epstein's contacts book, which offers a glimpse into the number of wealthy and powerful associates he had. Now, today is the legal deadline for the Justice Department to make the information public, although a couple of hours ago, the U.S. Deputy Attorney General said
is he going? Probably.
Files will be released in time to
the funny thing is, what a Blu-rays? Prince Andrew's wife.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor,
is she?
Known as Prince Andrew, you can see, laying across 5 women. Those faces
I thought I saw that.
Behind them appears to be Ghislaine Maxwell, the associate of the late Jeffrey Epstein, who was convicted for trafficking.
For real though, what is happening right now? We're going through the Epstein files.
Also
How you doing, Blu-rays?
Images that show
All good?
former President Bill Clinton in a swimming pool at night. The images are not dated. It's not clear where they were taken. In one, he's seen swimming alongside 2.
Hell yeah.
The identity of one of the individuals is redacted with a black square. The other does appear to be Ghislaine Maxwell. We mentioned that she has been convicted. She's actually serving
Yeah, just gaming a bit. Some are gaming. We are watching Epstein Files. Caucasians are very innovative in everything. Lol. Holy shit, these are worse than I thought. Well, you haven't seen anything. I saved a bunch of them. Like, we saw Bill Clinton quite a few times here.
Before Epstein was arrested, he has never been accused of wrongdoing by survivors.
We also have the Bill Clinton in the swimming pool picture.
Sex trafficking. Now, the BBC has contacted the Clinton office for comment on these images. Let's bring in our North America correspondent, Nomia.
Well, now I'll be multitasking. Oh my god, but that's like...
Nomia, tell us what you've been finding.
Like, I knew it was awful, evil stuff, but this is well... Where is Trump? I think they redacted Trump's name. Trump's names and also, like, Trump's images here.
There's the Freedom of Information Act. And
Sarah Ferguson, that's the one. Yeah.
And then you know, click into it and you've got thousands and thousands of documents.
Yeah, Sarah Ferguson.
Images.
Now it makes sense.
It doesn't really have much context, so we're trying to work out what it all means.
World War III, do you know why Streamlabs is redacting your posts? It's because there's a dot there, so it thinks that it's a website. I know, it's stupid, but...
And also, just another one that I can mention is that there's a photo of Mick Jagger, rock icon, and Bill Clinton sitting around a table with Jeffrey Epstein. The BBC's reaching out to Mick Jagger for comment. But it's always worth emphasizing that that doesn't mean there's any wrongdoing, right? These photos don't imply any wrongdoing because there's no context with them. And it's going to take some time to go through all of them. It's obviously not just...
You're bound to, know. Trump won't last 5 more months. I don't think so. Both mentally and physically. And that's not a threat. Every time I talk about Trump's, like, tenure or life, I'm not threatening, I'm just stating a fact. He's really fucking old. Father time is collecting us all.
law. So Donald Trump.
What happened to the Epstein files are still happening. We all should gang up on the elite. Oh yeah, 100% agree. And now they released like a few 100,000 files and we're going through them.
That his name, the case files have become this sort of byword for government cover-ups, for protecting elites, for systemic failure. There's been a big push on this, and Donald Trump promised that. But when he got into office,
if FBI or CIA goes through my hard drive now, it's gonna be a bit sus because I have like thousands of Epstein files on my PC.
Which outraged many people, and what we got was a groundswell.
They're gonna have a fun time going through my hard drive.
Maneuver Donald Trump in the end, and he signed a law last month on the 19th. Of November, which
no, it won't.
Him. It's called the Epstein Files Transparency.
Is that accent German or am I just a jackass? I'm not German.
The Department of Justice
close though.
Criminal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein by today, so he is legally mandated to release everything.
Trump will pin everything on you. That would be fucking hilarious.
Is redacted, and that is fine. That is within the law. If those files, for example, show victims, if it shows.
We are speedrunning this.
Sexual abuse, if it's anything that compromises ongoing investigation.
He tore the White House down.
National security, the Department of Justice
he did, and he should be ashamed of himself for doing that, but he doesn't feel shame.
Victims here who have been incredibly vocal, and they've also been speaking today on the release of these files.
You're so right, and
Austria maybe. Nah.
These gatherings.
Now you went the wrong way.
Outside the capital.
A bit more north.
Women, these incredibly brave women who feel for so long they have been forgotten about. And one survivor, Liz Stein, she gave a long statement. I just want to read a little bit of it. She said, for survivors, this deadline is not symbolic. It's a test of whether transparency.
That's a good question. Like why
outweigh the protection of powerful.
Why a lot of these photos are like redacted.
They, like us, are just going through all of these files. So it's really hard for them to give us that statement. To say what this means if they're happy with what's been released. And I should mention also, we have lots of teams in the BBC who are in contact with survivors, have been investigating this case for a long time. There are some who are very nervous about this as well. They're worried about these files being released, what it means for them. Some of them
Bill did have his swimming trunks on though.
Their security. And the Department of Justice, has said that this is why they actually do want to protect a lot of the people.
This might be why would Bill has his fist like that? That might be a fighter though.
Yeah, we know you and the BBC team here will continue to be going through these documents. Thank you so much for that update and for that reporting. Let's speak now to Congressman Suhas Subramaniam, a Democrat from Virginia and a member of the House Oversight Committee, one of the Democrats, we should say, who is pushing for the release of these files. Congressman,
well, that's fucking Michael.
From what you have seen so far, what stands out to you?
Of course, they are redacted. Some are thrown under the bus, so the rest can continue. True.
They basically violated the law by not releasing all the files that they had today.
That is true.
To release all the files. And yet, despite having these files for months, since January, really, and even starting to redact some in March, they were not prepared to release them by today.
I haven't seen this one yet.
Again, it seems
so can't say if the blue dress photo is correct.
Files too, just from what we've seen so far. We certainly expected them to release whatever they could about any Democrats that they could, target. We certainly expect them to withhold. Pictures of
Epstein Files already public photo of Trump with Maxwell and woman at Mar-a-Lago.
And that's kind of coming to
I haven't found any of those yet.
Search of these files, and so it's
I don't know if Trump is even gonna be there. I'm pretty sure that the Justice Department has done a really good job of cleaning Trump from the files. They released them already.
All the files because currently they're in violation of law, and also continue to work with the banks and the Epstein estate on producing what they have.
Yeah, I'll ask you more about the Justice Department.
But they did redact a lot of things. But they did release quite a lot of things. So. Oh yeah, like
not as much.
There's thousands and thousands and thousands of portions of data. And I've collected some of the juicy ones that we've already seen, which is a lot of pictures of Bill Clinton. That ex-DOJ guy, Joseph Schmidt, was correct, I guess. They only left Democrats in and redacted Republicans, billionaire donors. Yeah. Of course, we don't have any proof of that, but, I mean, come on. How can it be that you have Trump all over the files before, and all of a sudden when you drop like hundreds of thousands of files, there's no pictures of Trump. That's a bit too sus to me.
Which we don't have any evidence of yet, thankfully.
Yeah, everyone probably dead or irrelevant.
You mentioned the Department of Justice did not or has said it
I mean,
is not
the DOJ was supposed to release everything unredacted.
That law being signed by
And they are not following that. So good luck to Pam Bondi.
What can you do?
Yeah.
And the rest of the DOJ.
Every legal avenue right
DOJ.
Now. So, you know, if we have to take this to court, we will do that. In the end, they did not follow the law. They are basically disobeying Congress. This is the second time they have disobeyed Congress. And 4 months ago, our committee, the Oversight Committee,
Trump 2028.
The administration
probably in the Epstein file, in the Epstein Island. Yeah, Trump is going to be the president of the Epstein Island. Not a single photo of Trump, despite being Epstein's best friend for a time, definitely sus. Biden DOJ had same files that tells me that they had nothing on Trump except associate. They do. I don't think they were looking into this because their donors was also like probably in it.
Violation of the law now, and it's time that they are held accountable. So we're going to use.
And the only reason why the Democrats reacted to this after Trump won because they always thought that they would win against Trump, so they don't need to release this. But now they're using this as a weapon.
Biden administration in releasing these.
Stay in your own country and your own country politics. How about you, Adam Miller? Stay the fuck out of my chat. That's also a good option, right? I know you like pedos, so just fuck off. If you don't like me talking bad about your pedo protecting and also criminal protecting president, then I have nothing for you, guy.
But in any case, both administrations should be held responsible for not releasing the full files. And at this point, if this administration wants to be the most transparent administration,
where do I view the files? I can find them on the DOJ site. I can post a link.
A batch of them the day they are due.
Congressman, it's important that we underline once again, of course.
That's for the data set too, but you can navigate from that side to the other side as well.
Many people in these photos who have said they committed no wrongdoing.
Thanks, bro. No worries. I'm doing like civil service. Civil service for us Europeans.
That being said, for those who are linked to wrongdoing, what kind of justice are...
Oh, once you look at that. Branson.
You know, some of the victims have
people who defend pedos should have their PCs looked at. Yeah. Adam Miller 80996 is probably on this picture somewhere.
Like in the case of the former Prince Andrew. You know, that alone...
Yeah, we should all report Adam. No, that's doxing, so I can't say that. Yeah, FBI should look at Adam's PC, definitely. Thank you, but I disagree with your opinion. About what?
Victims of powerful people.
Nick Fuentes is asking me why you don't cut your hair.
And I think that's what they really want in the end of this.
I mean,
to feel like at least
it's easier to grab my hair when you're behind me, you know?
On a busy afternoon. Thank you so much for making
poor guy is probably in the Epstein Files himself.
We can speak now to Lori.
I can tell you one person that's not on the Epstein Files. Me.
Lori, it's good to have you back with us on BBC News. As you are looking at this website, searching...
Maybe one day so I can be the President of the United States. Adam is for sure swimming in the same pool as Bill Clinton, 100%.
What stands out to you?
What stands out to me is the volume of information and how hard it is actually to access what you're looking for.
One day I'll be in the Epstein Files and then I'll be the President of the United States.
And a haystack of tens of thousands of documents. And some of it is redacted. There are black bars across pictures. We don't know the story that goes behind each file. And it's going to take not only a lot of time, but I think probably a lot of AI to research through what was revealed. And they've admitted they haven't revealed everything.
As you do go through some of the documents, we mentioned there are nearly 4,000 PDFs.
How many pictures have we looked through?
We understand from these investigations.
For example, these pictures that are missing in the middle, like 73 jumps to 75, 71 jumps to 73, 70 is missing. Like, provide us those. Those files exist. Where are they?
Obviously not the victims themselves, but there's a thought that there are other people who are implicated in these investigations, and we don't know who.
Haven't seen you in a while. What up, Turbo?
We haven't seen the documents related to them.
Haha, Alicia for president 2028, bring out the files. No, I would be against the files then if I was in them. No Trump pictures. Well, we have the Trump pictures before, like, this file dump.
They were carrying out an investigation as well. From all of that,
because they were good friends and those were released before even this file dump.
What is already part of the public domain and what is new here?
But it is quite sus that so many pictures are missing from here, and also a lot of them are redacted.
That were brought, and there was discovery in it. Some of the pictures had already been known, but without going through every single file, and that is such a heavy duty to go through.
You know where we know that these are like purposely redacted?
I think there are real concerns.
The pictures of Trump and Epstein that were previously here.
That's what we need the answer to.
They should be also in the files, so if you can't find those original pictures here, we know that somebody has went through all the files and redacted everything.
What will you be looking out for in that regard?
That I think they actually are.
And the only potentially shocking photos so far are Bill Clinton in a pool with Maxwell.
So
yeah.
People are wondering whether this
are you still able to eat food you used to be allergic to? Yes, I have. Yeah, 100%. The only one I still haven't tried is pistachios. I still haven't had the courage to try that. Damn, like half the pictures aren't even there. Yes, for sure, I agreed. Yeah, that's why it's kind of sus that, like, because we've gotten pictures of Trump and Epstein in the past, and they have been from the Epstein Files. We know that, like, so if those pictures are missing from these pictures, we know somebody from the DOJ or FBI removed those pictures.
We mentioned this is a huge cache of data, and yet the Department of Justice.
You low-key look like Ozzy Osbourne. Definitely. Wait, what?
All of the documents had been released.
Ozzy counter.
Deadline.
Richard Branson. Yeah.
In the coming weeks, are you surprised that essentially the Department of Justice is in violation of
Richard Branson?
Law?
We had a lot of the same allergies to food. I have to say that it's a bit more free to be able to eat stuff.
Giving it out piecemeal
and not stressing so much. But I have to say that my new friends in Ireland are kind of fucking terrified to go out and eat with me.
That was supposed to be everything. Now, as was mentioned before,
even though, like, only shellfish will kill me, but like they're still terrified. They don't understand how I lived so far.
But I think there'll be a lot of scrutiny.
Okay, Lori Levinson, it's always good to get your analysis as well. Thank you so much for joining us on BBC.
We can't go through all of... I wish I could eat fish. Oh yeah, that's one thing that I'm super happy that I can eat, this fish. Get it right, also looks like Alice, and that's true.
And we are already hearing from some of them.
It's a compliment, mein Freund.
In a statement she wrote, among other things, quote,
well, aber natürlich.
This deadline is not symbolic. It's a test of whether transparency will finally outweigh the
I stepped away for a bit. Has Trump shown up in these pictures yet? Nope. And that is, according to a lot of people in the chat, sus as fuck.
We can speak to Rachel Foster, the co-founder and executive council chair of the World.
And I have to agree.
She works with many survivors.
And there's like full pages of like redaction.
Liz Stein, who we just mentioned there. Thank you very much.
Not even lines of redaction, like complete black pages. Good evening, Tom. I'm confused. Is this in support of Trump? Good evening, sir. I'm not. He's not dead. He's not in his 70s, so therefore he looks like Ozzy.
This has been immensely distressing, and the trickle of documents over time has caused them to have to brace themselves daily for what's coming.
This is not what we wanted.
And for many of them, as you mentioned, their allegations.
What are these pictures?
Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and others went back for decades. This has been 5 administrations, and for them, it's not partisan. It's not political. They have a range of backgrounds.
Have the files been released? Yes. So many pointless photos. There's a lot of pointless, but I think there's also like I can link the page to you again.
Whatever is possible at this point, and it may not be criminal, but it is exposure.
But the whole picture is sus.
And collectively,
yeah, that's not even heavily redacted. Like, why is the whole picture?
To see them at World Without Exploitation, we've been working closely.
The Epstein Files been released before GTA 6. Shaking my head.
Strong community.
Because usually when you have like victims here that we've had, they redact the face only.
A lot of anxiety around this, but they're also really, really clear in their desire and their demand that there's a
like this.
Release.
They only redact the face. So why the fuck do we have pictures that are completely redacted? What's on the corners of that picture that can't be shown?
Girls and women and the public.
Some in the Norwegian royal family was on the island too. Nothing on the news about it.
Those who face sexual,
but the penguin wasn't. The leader of the army. General, I don't remember what his name is.
Come forward, and that's a serious problem.
Can you tell us a bit more about
Norway has royal family. Oh, Norway, yeah, 100%. But they have a penguin.
I imagine it must have been also a really terrifying one, knowing that these files, yes,
army
names
leader.
and identities redacted, but they know
Norway.
They and their lives.
This is the best fucking thing ever.
Is also being shared in these documents.
Nils Olav, Sir Nils Olav III. Norway's penguin army leader is Sir Nils Olav III, a king penguin residing at Edinburgh Zoo, who serves as the colonel-in-chief and the mascot of the Norwegian King's Guard. This is one of the most wholesome fucking things ever. And one of the reasons why I really, really fucking love Norway.
Risk, as well as the fact that it's incredibly destabilizing. They have
like, look at this
families,
shit.
They're working, and they are leaving their lives
oh my
as
God.
they know it to embark on this for the public good, as well as
not just the mascot, but a military leader.
Achieve some kind of justice after decades of being sidelined.
I have to say that I trust that penguin more than the military leadership of the Department of War.
Of power and
that penguin is real.
After so long feeling diminished.
No. That penguin is 100% real.
Just one more question.
It is Sir Nils Olav III.
I imagine that looks different to each of these women, but what is kind of the sense of justice that they can receive?
Colgate Max White
files for those who are accused.
Oh yeah.
Where there's wrongdoing actually proven.
Well, I think just as we previously mentioned, maybe being stripped of titles, boards, employment, where those who created harm have been allowed to operate
look at this shit
for all this time and potentially create more harm, commit other crimes.
Oh my God, he got a promotion from his previous rank of colonel-in-chief. Mette-Marit was there and had contact from 2011-2013. All the Nordic countries are awesome. We do are. But Finland doesn't have a fucking penguin as the leader of the King's Guard. What's going on in the USA? Greetings from Mongolia. USA just released the Epstein Files, but now we're watching the Norwegian leader of the King's Guard.
Continue along this harmful path, and none of us want to see that, especially these women.
And Rachel, I imagine that these women will continue to put pressure on the Department of Justice in the coming weeks to ensure that the rest of these files, the documents, pictures, photos.
What is Epstein?
Is released.
Absolutely.
A really bad person.
They're united. They're outspoken.
He liked children, and he was friends with a lot of powerful people.
With them, had 92 million views.
But yeah, Nils Olav III is fucking awesome. We need to visit Edinburgh Zoo just to see Nils Olav.
Very good to speak with you today.
Billy Bob Thornton. What is Epstein? It's a hard thing to describe without being super impolite. Alright, so I think next summer I need to go to Edinburgh just to pay homage to Nils Olav.
Looking into all of these files, a giant cache of data, and we'll be bringing that to you on our live page there. I do want to bring you another story.
But yet he was a small pawn for the people he was a handler for.
The Trump administration has started striking
Billy
dozens
Fulton
of
played
Islamist
Santa Claus. I know that.
targets in central Syria on Friday. That is according to our U.S. partner CBS News.
We have so much oligarch problems to sell land to Russia and China. Didn't Mongolia also have a huge youth uprising just a while back? Or am I tripping?
Trump had vowed retaliation in response to what he called the terrible incident. Fighter jets from Jordan were also involved in these retaliatory strikes. The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, posted on social media the following. U.S. forces commenced Operation Hawkeye Strike in Syria to eliminate ISIS fighters, infrastructure, and weapon sites in direct response to the attack on U.S. forces that occurred on December 3rd.
Oh yeah, I should know this. I made a video about this. I think the Epstein used the islands so he could blackmail powerful people, and that's why they murdered him in jail. Yeah, I think it's there's a bit too many conveniences when it comes to Epstein's death. And of course, I used to be a really big conspiracy theorist. So me delving into that mindset isn't that difficult, but there's a bit too many conveniences when it comes to Epstein dying.
You see another photo with Mick Jagger and Bill Clinton. I want to stress that the BBC has reached out. That's Diana Ross in that picture as well. The BBC has reached out to Bill Clinton's family as well for a statement, as well as Mick Jagger for response to this. We mentioned that there are a number of PDFs as part of the investigation as well into...
I'm finding out Epstein very quickly. Yeah, Epstein is like...
Reporters are looking through.
It's been a big deal for a while.
Has not released all of the files yet. There was this deadline today mandated by the Department of Justice, or by this law rather, passed by Congress, that the Department of Justice release all the files today. They have not all been released. They will be in the coming weeks, according to
the camera did not work just then, and
but this large cache is available on the Department of Justice website. It can be searched.
Yeah, the camera didn't work and the guard was asleep. There were a bit too many coincidences when it comes to Epstein. I agree. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that he was murdered. Yeah. Wait a second. Do you think? Hey, that's a bit of a jump there. Do you think that Adolf died in the bunker, or did he escape? There are quite a lot of like testimonies from people who were there.
It's not easy to look through this stuff that
so I think that we have enough evidence that he died in the bunker. He looks unhinged and looks guilty, so that's why he killed himself, and Trump knows it, but he don't give damn because he is so busy with presidential seat.
On my own, we have a huge team here in DC and as also in London.
Hollywood had most people on islands. Facts. Probably.
They've had these files for the best part of the last year. But in terms of what's new,
I don't know. After I go through all the files, I'll let you know, guys, what the percentages are.
And it appears that there are written statements.
Was Maxwell the biggest pimp in history? I could be wrong. We shouldn't make fun of this, but probably you're right. Maxwell was probably the biggest pimp there are.
Jeffrey Epstein. Something else that I've been looking through is the section that says BOP Epstein records. So BOP stands for Bureau of Prisons, and there's lots of emails.
No, Snoop Dogg is by far superior. I don't think Snoop Dogg has anything on Maxwell, though.
He died in 2019. He died by suicide, and there's lots of exchanges with officials in jail.
Are we still talking about fucking 2020 elections?
Observing Jeffrey Epstein, saying that he had been removed from suicide watch, he'd stepped down to psychological observation and so forth. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because that is a huge part of this whole story that many people are interested in. There are so many people in the MAGA movement that do not believe that Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide. They believe
we were just talking about that, and now BBC is talking about it.
Powerful people who were involved in crimes, people who flew.
Breaking news: Americans just got hoodwinked by their government. They did not release the full Epstein files. What they just released is heavily redacted in order to protect the child sex traffickers that they should be prosecuting. I agree. So people in power never truly innocent. Fuck no.
I think what the Department of Justice is doing here is showing us all the communication that they.
We need somebody from the Department of Justice
around that period in terms of Jeffrey
to be a whistleblower
what happened to him and how he
and
died.
release the files. Larry the Cable Guy is on island. I'm so waiting how all these people will react to seeing their photos in these files. I don't know. Probably suing somebody or something.
There are so many conspiracy theories around Jeffrey Epstein. I think it's safe to say that conspiracy theories never usually die. In this country, there are so many of them. And it is very possible, I think, that these files...
So as of now, there's really nothing other than Bill Clinton, which is super sus.
I think, than answers.
Yeah, no, Mia,
surprised by the magnitude of it. I'm not surprised that they're withholding it
as well around these files as they're searching through them. And I noted that there are
oh shit. Okay, this is it's just 4 matches in the same paragraph. All right, let's see here. When she was 16, Epstein moved her to New York. After a few months, Epstein co-signed the...
Have you seen the Diddy documentary? I haven't watched it yet. He looked chill in prison, pretty slow. That's a weird way of saying it.
In here that some of them we've already seen.
I want to know what happens with Epstein's will, all that money. Now they're gonna go to the ballroom.
In there, we can
That's the private donor that Trump had.
Some of them, there's just so many photos. But
Oletko valmis ristiretkelle eliittiä vastaan? I am.
And there are photos of people.
Are you ready for a crusade against the elite?
With Jeffrey Epstein that we're going through.
That's proof that I know Finnish.
These photos have been seen before, and what these photos mean. That's the other thing that I think.
Maybe I'm just a psyop put here by Swedish. Where's this Epstein guy's money go? Nobody knows.
And CBS correspondent Erica Brown is following.
McFaith, I think you're onto something. I think Trump completely removed himself from the files, which means he is hiding something bad enough to make the US president keep his name out of the files.
Today for the release of these Department of Justice files.
I want to... We're going to see next week, because... Oh, no, we're not going to see next week, because it's going to be the holiday break for the government. So, when Congress comes back, we're going to have a hearing of the DOJ. Pam Bondi is going to be there, and probably Kash Patel, about what files were redacted and where the fuck they are. A part of me thinks that some of these people on the island didn't know that the girls were underage, and that's why I said Epstein may have been blackmailing them. Oof. They released some photos just to say that was all. Yeah, I don't think Andrew Tate innocent because Barron Trump and Trump helped him in Romania. Fuck no. No, Andrew Tate is not innocent, and Andrew Tate is a fucking... Well, I don't even think he believes all the things he's saying. He's just milking money. He understood how to make really a lot of money by tapping into that incel market, and he's just riding that. You don't like Andrew Tate? Fuck no. Andrew Tate is one of the best con artists there are. He's literally just grifting everybody, eating money with his Hustlers University and just like endless spouting bullshit. If Andrew Tate lost in fight, that means he bet money on Dimore, which means it scams if Andrew Tate loses. You think Andrew Tate has a chance to win? I don't think so.
Still reviewing some of those files in an effort to
wait a second.
Sensitive information, identifiable information related to abuse and to the victims of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's crimes.
Anupa just subscribed to me on YouTube an hour ago, and he found me on X. It's today they fight. Oh really? I haven't seen that. I have a stupid question. Did we have any other news today, other than Finland hates me? I don't think there was anything else going today. I made the Finnish hate me, which is freaking hilarious, by telling the truth. How that Andrew Tate got $1 billion, he owned 70 cars, like what? He was running casinos owned by the mafia. He even talked about it. He didn't own those. The mafia owned those. He even, like, admitted it. He also managed OnlyFans. Yes. That is true. Human trafficked women. So he's basically I wouldn't take that leap. I think he's insecure 100%, but he's not dumb. He knows how to make money. They found the brown shooter dead. Yeah. That was a kind of a nothing burger, though. Horrible thing to say about a mass shooter, but it kind of was a bit of a nothing burger. Man, Michael Jackson was my childhood favorite artist. Not anymore, though. Well, he sent messages to the climate activist girl. Greta Thunberg, yeah. Yeah, Greta Thunberg. Michael Jackson being on the island or with Epstein isn't that big of a surprise. Remember what happened. What do you think of mass immigration? Is it smart or no? If it's done correctly, there's nothing wrong with it. The problem is like a lot of countries don't have the means or the infrastructure to do mass immigration properly. Mass immigration in itself, there's nothing wrong with it. But the system that goes through, that you go through, if that is flawed, then the whole fucking thing crumbles. You know? Hee hee. Andrew Tate's ego is damaged when Greta mocks Andrew. Oh yeah. It's the same thing. Will it be wrong to listen to his music? Oh yeah. No. It like Michael Jackson has some bangers. Like Human Nature is a really good one. Of course, like Thriller and all of those are. But I really like Human Nature quite a lot. It's a really good song. What's your favorite historical empire? Okay, this is a good place to end. So what's my favorite historical empire? I need to... Okay, this is a bit of a controversial take because they weren't really considered to be an empire, but I'm gonna play my home team and say the Danish Vikings. I think those Africans and Islams take advantage of Europe because Europe is soft. I don't think so. It's separating the art from the artist. I agree. For example, there are really good Kevin Spacey movies. Kevin Spacey is not a bad actor, but he is a bad person in his free time. Michael Jackson, what he did to those kids is fucking horrible. Did Michael Jackson know how to sing? Oh yes. Did he know how to dance? Yes, he did. Is his music really good? Well, a lot of it is, yes. If we count Danish Vikings as an empire, I can take that. Listen to Michael Jackson is Dead by John Legere. Here in Russia or China or Mongolia, we barely see illegals because they know they can't survive here. I mean, they can. But even in Russia, like, even the locals who are legally there, they have trouble surviving. Especially the further right, the further east you go. You know? The closer and closer to Vladivostok you get. Those who don't know where Vladivostok is. I can show you. So, Vladivostok is all the way to the right. So the closer in Russia, the closer to Vladivostok you get, the worse you get. Is it 100% confirmed Michael Jackson is guilty? And why did the guy who played Kevin and Home Alone defend him? Immigration in China is on the rise. But yeah, legal immigration. We'll let them in Europe, they live free. Nobody lives free in Europe though. Another example, are you not going to watch the film that are associated with Weinstein? Is there a film about that? Oh, no. You were talking about like... You were talking about like watching movies that Weinstein was a part of. Yeah. I thought there was... Yeah. So, sorry, Dan Fun. I thought you were talking about like some documentary made about Harvey Weinstein. But you were talking about the same topic we talked previously. How can you confess Michael Jackson if he died already? Oh, that's the thing. We can't. I don't know. I just don't feel like all the Michael Jackson allegations are true. Dave Chappelle has a great take on it. I know Dave Chappelle's take on it. You're talking about like that's a good host take. You get to ride on the roller coasters, you get fed, you get your dick sucked. That's a good host. That was Dave Chappelle's take, not mine. I was paraphrasing what Dave Chappelle said. No way, sorry, spoken person like him molest kids. Yes. Allegedly he did. And also, yes. Bill Clinton seems awfully close in the pictures with Maxwell. He for sure bent the pimp over too, probably. Dave is a genius. Dave is... Yeah. Some of Dave's takes are really good. Some of Dave's takes are really bad. But Dave has more good takes than bad takes. And I do like comedy, all sorts of different comedy. Like Ricky Gervais, for example. I think he's really smart when it comes to comedy. I know some of his comedy is really controversial and like probably amongst like left-wingers it's a bit of a hot take, but do America ban OnlyFans? I don't know. Hopefully not. Should I have OnlyFans? That's the real question, I think. Louis C.K. I've never liked Louis C.K. even before the controversy. Louis C.K. is, in my opinion, not a good comic. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. It never, like, his rhythm and his style never really clicked. The deep fake porn site shut down pretty recently is out of context. I think Michael Jackson is a case of very, very damaged goods if you believe how his dad treated him. Yeah. I do agree, Dan. He was groomed to be an artist and mistreated, 100%. Hey, we know more about these files tomorrow, so remember to subscribe to find your way back tomorrow. Well, his comedy is all riffs, so no writing whatsoever. And I think that's probably a part of the issue, but then again, there's like good riff artists like Richard Pryor and George Carlin, and there's a lot of like good riff artists. Then there's that, oh my god, I'm blacking out. What's the name? Not Ariel Spears, but oh my god. What's the most cheap and warm living state in the US? New Mexico, probably. Texas. Probably New Mexico, though. Arizona is quite cheap as well. But I wouldn't move to Arizona, though. It's freaking hot there. What do you think about Kill Tony and the Austin comedy scene? I think that's a cesspool of idiots. I don't like Kill Tony. I think Kill Tony is like it's not even comedy anymore. He hides all of his like hot takes behind comedy. He uses comedy as a shield instead of like trying to make people laugh. What do? You look wise. Well, I can correct that. I don't look wise anymore because I took my classes off. Nah. I work in the tech industry. No, like, yeah. Like, I haven't watched that many Louis C.K. stuff. Some of my friends, like, back in the day, used to recommend Louis C.K. Shane Gillis is fucking hilarious. And I love, like, one of the best things... Okay, this is the last thing. One of the best things that I love about Shane Gillis is like, he doesn't give a fuck. He makes fun of Joe Rogan to Joe Rogan's face. He makes fun of the left. He makes fun of the right. He makes fun of everyone. He's an equal opportunity ass kisser when it comes to comedy. I thought you died. No, I went away because Sharon was annoying me, so I needed to go. But yeah, Shane Gillis is like, he's okay. I do enjoy it. Not all of his like jokes land really well, but a lot of them does. And I do enjoy that he's just fucking making fun of everyone. He perfect making fun of all of them because he already got cancelled. Yeah, like he doesn't care about the right either. Like some of my favorite like podcasts and parts about Shane Gillis is like him just making fun of Kill Tony, for example. I'm 23 years old. I'm sell some motorcycle and betting on sites and rent some house in Mongolia. And winter is so sucks here and jobs are so sucks. That's why I'm selling motorcycle. Thank God it's Friday. Happy weekend. Same to you, Devin. Hello from Tucson, Oklahoma, right? Tucson, Oklahoma. What about Bert Kreischer? No. Bert Kreischer is just like, he has that one shtick he's using all the time. Is Tucson in Arizona? No, I was mixing it with Tulsa. Sorry. We're not all the way hick. Yeah, I was mixing Tucson with Tulsa. Sorry about that. Yeah, Tulsa is in Oklahoma and Tucson is in Arizona. I should have known that. I do proud myself for knowing all the states in United States, and I can even place them in a map, even though I'm not American. Jimmy Carr, my favorite comedian, very intelligent, very quick, and I like his saying offenses and giving it taken. Who are you? I'm you. Who are you? Do only watch politics on YouTube and news. Most of the time. I do like to talk about news because I like watch news from all sorts of countries and different sources. And that's just my hobby. I do like talk about news. Not just American news and not just like European news, but we've had streams where we talked about Asian news and South American news. It kind of depends what's happening in the world. I usually have an opinion about a lot of things. They're not always good opinions. Like 100%, I have shit opinions as well. But I'm not like saying that they are like gospel. You need to obey those opinions that I have. What's your life outside of screen? I work. I have 2 daughters. I have a wife. A normal family man. I like to play guitar. I like video games. You know, this normal stuff. I don't drink that much anymore or party. I don't really care about that anymore. I have 2 daughters, so they take more time than... I don't want to be around them when I'm hungover. I don't want to drink around them, so... The only thing you've got a watch with mainstream news, it's made of for negativity, clicks, and money, in my opinion. That is true, unfortunately. That's why I, from time to time, try and find some good news to talk about. Unfortunately, as you said, Dan, a lot of the mainstream news is cluttered by negativity and clickbait news. Because clicks sell. People need to click on the news so they get the ad revenue. Man, the alcoholism is twice as big per person here in Mongolia. If you want to watch news about, for example, about Mongolia, Bangladesh, about Gen Z, I posted a YouTube link on the chat in Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook as well. So go check that out. We made a short little homage and highlight reel of what Gen Z made possible around the world. Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Peru, Bulgaria, Philippines, Mongolia, Madagascar. So there's a lot of countries there. and they don't get that mainstream attention that they deserve. So that's one thing that we do like to do is from time to time provide that spotlight into those smaller things that are happening around the world. East Timor, I forgot. Sorry about that. East Timor is the smallest country that we're actually covering in that video. And they had an uprising as well. You sound pretty straightforward and like pretty cool guy. I'm definitely going to come in and watch this stream in the future. Hey, I do love talking with every single one of you. And I'm not saying that I'm right with everything. And majority of things I'm talking about when it comes to like opinions and such, they're just my opinions. We all have opinions. And that's fine. We can disagree on things, we can agree on things, but we can be civil about it. The corruption in Turkey is quite interesting to follow. That is a thing that I've been following quite a long time, and also Turkey has starting to get mad towards Russia, which is interesting because they've had a really close relationship in the past. So that's another thing in Turkey that I've been like monitoring is like the rhetoric that Erdogan is using towards Putin is getting more and more hostile, which is surprising. I hate this left ideology, I'm soundbite 40 years old, stuck in 23. They mistake freedom with insanity, I'm telling you. Nah. The Gen Z is going to be the future, you want it or not. Russia is very poorest and simple-minded idiots. I mean, okay. Even though I do share some of that sentiment, but I'm not that blunt as you are, Coco. I try to be a bit more subtle and not pass. Like, the leadership of Russia, I have opinions about it. But I do know a lot of Russian people. And I have nothing against... Okay. This is... If you want to take something from this, about like what I'm talking about this stream, governments and the leaders are free real estate. We can criticize those all day we want. But when it comes to the people inside that country, we need to remember they can't always, they don't always have free will to vote how they want to. They don't always have the access to free media or information, so they're not informed to do the decisions they make. So blaming citizens and people of that country isn't always the right thing to do. And that's why, for example, when I'm criticizing Russia, I'm always talking about the government of Russia, Kremlin, and also Putin. When I'm criticizing the United States, I'm criticizing the government and the leadership. When I'm criticizing Israel, Palestine, India, China, it's never about the citizens itself. It's always about the leadership and the government. And the only way those can be changed is through the people itself. But sometimes the people are almost like prisoners. Problem is you got undiagnosed psychopath as the leader of Russia at the moment. Yeah. Well, a former KGB agent, so. What's your biggest criticism of Europe right now? I think Europe fucked up with Ukraine. They should have reacted in 2014 and faster. Hey Larry, thanks for the like. I think Europe fucked up with Ukraine. They should have reacted in 2014 and they should have reacted faster. They waited for too long and now Ukraine is fucked. Putin says NATO is reached Russia's throat. He just take advantage of Zelensky and he blames Zelensky. Oh goddamn Blu-rays, I got a mustache and a hat. Thanks a million for the mustache and a hat. Putin just wants to destroy Ukraine, that's it. True. Well, they do want to take the territory as well. Blu-rays, as always. Working hard, night shifts, and sending me mustaches and hats in TikTok. They didn't have the balls to use the Russian money to support Ukraine. Yeah. That's my biggest gripe with Europe at the moment. Other than that, even though there's a lot of criticism against EU and Europe in America, a lot of that is machined by comrade Elon Musk and his interest groups. There's a reason why Elon Musk is against EU, and it's financial. If you read into it, you know. Every time Elon Musk complains about EU, it's because he wants untapped market without no regulations, so he can make as much money as he can selling private information to third-party owners. And if you come back to me and say that Elon Musk is a champion of free speech, he has complied to governments and nations' requests for censorship more than any other any previous owner ever. During the time he's owned Twitter. Case in point, who was talking about Turkey? During the election, Erdogan told Elon Musk that you need to completely shut off the opposition from X/Twitter. Elon Musk did that. Completely shut off the opposition from access to Twitter while boosting Erdogan's party and Erdogan as the candidate in X. Where was those freedom of speech warriors then? The other time he did that in India, when they actually during election as well. And if you want an example of what you were saying about voting go back to Turkey again, yeah. If West don't help Ukraine, I think Ukraine's done pretty much. I do agree, unfortunately. They didn't have the balls. All right, guys. It's getting quite late. Lucky me that do not have to think about night shift before the 31st of December, so you have more than enough time to play Blu-rays. Thanks a million for joining me again. And sending me another hat and a mustache, and another hat and a mustache, and another hat and mustache. God damn. That's an early Christmas present for me. The guy with the satellites will save Europe. Gotta fill it up. I mean, I've said this many times, Blu-rays, and I do mean this. Thanks a million for keeping me company and being here. Not just because you sent hats and mustaches, but like even if you don't send, I'm always saying that thanks for keeping me company. Don't worry so much, it's not about the money. It is about the money. Like, the only reason why Elon Musk is angry about EU is about the money. Finally, they are released. Finally, the Epstein Files are released. We went through quite a lot of them. I think we went through like almost 1,000 files. So much so that my eyes are hurting. Not forgetting Musk has autism, so his brain works a lot different than where he can find it difficult to sympathize. That's true. Unfortunately, almost everything is about money. I do share that as well, yeah. All stuff we already knew from Q drops. True. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. I've been saying that I need to stop the stream for the past 30 minutes. That's, man, you're a very good listener. Thanks, man. Hey, thanks for everybody who's joined me here. Like, there's been so many people here in YouTube and Twitch and even in TikTok. Have a great rest of the evening, guys. MacFaith, thanks for the follow in Twitch. We got a lot of subs in the YouTube. Coco, thanks for the sub. Blu-rays, thanks in TikTok. Like, goddamn, this is fun. Life is so simpler, 100%. Hope to see you guys soon. If you can join the streams, I still value your time here, and I value having conversations with you guys. Have a great rest of the evening, great rest of the day, great rest of the morning.